Good evening, Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the regular school board meeting of April 29th, 2025. I see we have a nice crowd here today, and I like to see that. I'd like to mention before we start that both Trustee Stewart and Trustee Sabag are attending this meeting remotely pursuant to the provisions of AB 2449 due to just cause. Pursuant to the provisions of the superintendent employment agreement, Dr. Chernus and the district could agree on an earlier start date than June 1st. I am pleased to announce that Dr. Chernus was able to make this today his official start today. So welcome on board, Dr. Chernus. And now I would like to call on Marissa Winans, a third grader at Horace Mann, to come up and lead us in the flag salute, and then next would be Grace Faust from grade 4 from Horace Mann, ready to read the pledge, the mission and vision. So could I have Marissa Winans? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Grace, are you here? Jake will be doing the community pledge, okay?
Our mission is educational excellence. Our vision is our students will realize their full potential to thrive with integrity in a complex, changing world.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Jake, how would you like to lead us in the community pledge, please?
Please speak into the microphone, thank you.
The BHUSD Community Pledge. The BHUSD community acknowledges that in order to achieve educational excellence, we must act with integrity and respect for each other in our learning environment. Therefore, I pledge to 1. Model civil behavior and respect in all communications and in public while maintaining a culture of honesty. 2. Listen and acknowledge differences of opinion. 3. Do my part to protect an inclusive culture in which we honor the relationship between all school community members. And 4. Honor our learning environment, including how we take care of our schools and personal property. By holding ourselves and each other accountable to this pledge at all times, we will promote an environment of educational excellence that will allow our entire BHUSD community to thrive.
Thank you, Jake. I will now call for an approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion for the approval of the agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Stewart. And a second to the motion, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Remy. Thank you so much, Remy. And we now will have to have a roll call vote because we have 2 people on Zoom. So at this point, I will do a roll call of the approval of the agenda. Mr. Javidad?
Aye.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabag?
Yes.
Mrs. Dr. Stern?
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Yes.
And Mrs. Marcus is a yes. So vote passes 5-0. Thank you very much. Dr. Chernus, is there any report of closed session action?
No report.
Thank you very much. Okay, at this point, I believe that I'm going to welcome the principal of the Horace Mann School, who is going to present the wonderful news about the spelling bee. So Mrs. Ellerby, please welcome you to the podium. Thank you.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Chernus. I'm here with Ms. Walker to celebrate and present academic superstars at Horace Mann, 9 amazing students who achieved something magnificent last week. If you ask any of the teachers at Horace Mann, they'll tell you that Miss Ellerby is full of ideas. She's always coming up with something else for them to do. And one of the ideas that I was the most insistent on and excited about was, let's have a spelling bee at every single grade level. It took a little bit of time for them to get excited about it and catch my enthusiasm, but eventually they did. They got on the bus and took the journey, and I'm so happy that we did this because we had 3 spectacular events, which were a spelling bee at 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade. Students from every single classroom participated in the grade level spelling bee. Those of us who've watched, we know that spelling bees are not just meaningful for those who participate, but they're meaningful for those who watch. And so all of our students got to benefit from this experience. Once we made the decision that we were going to have spelling bees at 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, I knew what a huge undertaking it would be. And so I asked our amazing assistant principal, Ms. Walker, to lead the charge, and she did a spectacular job. So I'm going to allow her a few minutes to talk about the process, and then we will present our superstars to you.
Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Chernus, Cabinet, and attendees. It was my pleasure to take on this challenge and get everything in order together. We had spelling lists that we gave out to classrooms to study. The teachers were so wonderful, and each classroom had a spelling bee within the classroom, and the top 5 spellers from each class came forward, and then we held 3 separate, like Ms. Ellerby said, 3 separate spelling bees, and then out of the 20 participants were our top 3 who are joining us here today. We had official judges, we had an official pronouncer, and I was the organizer, and parents were there, their classmates were there, and it was just so beautiful to watch their peers cheer them on. And it was a wonderful thing. So we're honored to present the certificates today. We're going to start with 3rd grade. So the first place winner for 3rd grade is Marissa Winans. Second place winner for 3rd grade is Noah Waterman. Third place winner for 3rd grade is Theodore Stockman. Moving on to 4th grade, our first place winner for 4th grade is Grace Faust. Second place winner for 4th grade is Brian Park. Third place winner is Lisha Sereno. Moving on to fifth grade, our first place winner is Jake Munn. Second place winner for 5th grade is Lev Sidkoff. And our third place winner for 5th grade is Liev Diaz Razor. Let's give them a big round of applause. Congratulations. Yay.
job, guys. Great, sweetie. All right, are we ready? 1, 2, 3, spelling bee. Come on, you can say it a little bit with more enthusiasm. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Any of our board members want to make a comment? Mrs. Sabag, you have a comment you would like to make?
Congratulations. Wonderful. Elementary is and I'm so happy. Can you please
Mrs. Sabag, do you have a comment you'd like to make?
I don't think it's coming through.
Not, Mr. Stewart?
Yeah, here.
Well, let's go with the members of the board then that are here. Mr. Remy?
I just want to congratulate all the winners here today and also all those students who participated. And I think this is a great idea to get all the students involved and excited and learn. The excitement of spelling and the competition of it will just fuel all those students who want to learn more and learn how to spell. So it's a great idea, and congratulations again to all the students.
Dr. Stern? Dr. Stern?
Just congratulations. I have nothing to add.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Same congratulations and thank you for joining us tonight.
I just want to add one thing. It looks like something we might be adding to our curriculum, then let the others, both the schools do it. I think it would be a welcome thing to have this as an annual event. So let's see what happens, and I look forward to seeing some of you again next year in upper grade, but even some of our second graders coming into third. So thank you very much, Mrs. Ellerby and Ms. Walker, for cheerleading this. Thank you.
Ms. Marcus, can I make a comment, please? Can I have the winners from each grade come up? I want to put you on the spot here. I'm dying to know your winning words.
Yeah, I was going to ask that too.
So please come up to the microphone here. Let's start with third grade.
Well, it's really an honor, and I just want to thank you for the spelling because it was really fun.
All right. What word did you win with? What was the word?
I think it was ingredient. Yeah, I think so.
Thank you. Congratulations.
My word was hiatus.
My word was reciprocity.
You can share a word you spelled right.
I spelled sophisticated. I spelled fluoride.
Well, congratulations to all of you.
Go ahead, Katie, you have 6 minutes.
Thank you. Dear members of the board, Dr. Hasty, and a welcome to Dr. Chernus. I would just like to take a minute to say that I'm so glad that the student spotlight is on elementary school tonight. That's just fabulous. My name is Catherine Warren, and I am the president of BHEA. I love you guys. First and foremost, I would like to thank Russell Stewart for coming to Rep Council and introducing himself to the teachers. The teachers reported that it was great to meet you and gained a better understanding of who you are and what you believe. I would also like to extend the invitation to the other members of the board. You are always welcome at Rep Council. 2 weeks ago, I came before you to emphasize the importance of reaching a fair agreement before the end of the school year. At that time, I was optimistic that tonight I'd be reporting meaningful progress, that both parties had come to the table and in good faith and moved the process forward. Unfortunately, that is not the case. On April 16th, BHEA was fully prepared to negotiate, yet no one from the district showed up. 3 hours later, we received an email informing us that due to the ongoing leadership transition and a budget review scheduled for May 6th, the district was not in a position to make a counteroffer until June 1st. I would like to remind you that the last day of school is May 30th. This is deeply disappointing. These delays have not only tested our patience, they've tested the goodwill and trust that are essential to any successful negotiation. BHEA's position remains the same. Our expectations have not changed. BHEA will be at the bargaining table on May 1st as previously agreed upon. We are still committed to reaching a fair and timely agreement before the end of the school year. As you can see, many of the elementary school teachers are here tonight. This semester, our elementary schools have been fundamentally disrupted. Since March, these educators have faced profound and sudden changes. The superintendent has resigned, critical cabinet members who support our teachers have departed, entire school site administrations have been removed without any explanations as to why. There has been minimal teacher input into the hiring of the next administration. Now the board is undermining them yet again by sending them off to summer vacation without a contract. These educators, they do not know what their class size will be. They do not know what their salary will be or what benefits they will have access to. Yet despite all of this, they have continued to provide a first-rate education to our youngest learners. You just saw what great things they're doing. Our elementary teachers are the heart of this district. They form the strongest bonds with our families and are often the very first connection our community has with our school district. But most importantly, they are the foundation of the entire district. All our programs and achievements are built upon their tireless and often unrecognized work. Next week is Teacher Appreciation Week. These teachers need more than a coffee cup and a Starbucks gift card. They need affordable health care so they can see the doctor of their choosing. They need to be able to pay the rent without commuting hours a day. This board must give Dr. Hasty substantial parameters so we can complete multiple rounds of negotiations on Thursday. There is only 1 month of school left. The time to act must be now. Summer is around the corner. Do not leave these teachers hanging. Please come to the table ready to negotiate. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. I would like now to call Annette Goldstein to the podium. Good evening, and 3 minutes. Thank you.
I am Annette Levy-Goldstein, and I have had the privilege of working for the BHUSD School District for 31 years. I was supposed to start with good evening, members of the board. I want to start by telling you how lucky I feel to get to come to Horace Mann and spend every day doing what I love and observing the growth that my influence has on my students' success. It is truly a dream job for me, and I'm extremely proud of what my team and I do year in and year out. I come before you today with a heavy heart, and I ask for your attention, not only as a teacher, but as a parent, a professional, and someone who deeply cares about the future of our students and our community. I have been reflecting on the current state of our district, on the budget, on the priorities being set, and frankly, on the message that is being sent to the educators who show up every day to serve your children. It is well documented in the Beverly Hills audit that our district is out of compliance with the required percentage of the budget being allocated for salaries and benefits for staff. We are falling short of the 55% threshold that is supposed to go towards compensating those of us who are entrusted with one of the most important responsibilities in this community, educating our future leaders. As I stand here, or sit here, before you, I cannot help but feel undervalued and disheartened by the reality that this district would rather ask for a waiver from LACO for being out of compliance than to invest in the teachers who make this district what it is. Why is that? Why are we, as educators, not seen as valuable enough to be compensated in a way that reflects both the inflationary pressures we face and the hard work we put in daily? I have 3 extra jobs this year, and I'm also teaching summer school to make ends meet. I'm asking for the basic respect and fairness of being able to earn a salary that allows me to raise my children and to support my family, and that comes closer to reflecting the value of the work that I do every day. I personally had to pay several $100s out of pocket for my last colonoscopy, sorry if that's TMI, and will have to think twice about going as regularly as my family history and my doctor suggests. It's just too expensive. I also canceled a doctor's appointment that I had scheduled for last Friday because I was told it would be a $1,300 copay. Our benefits are abysmal. Plus, I will have 2 kids in college in the fall, and even with merit scholarships, tuition for my son's top choice is more than I can afford. So I will have to tell him, too bad. You may be unaware of the fact that this is how many of our teachers live. Have you ever canceled a non-elective doctor's appointment because of costs? Will your child's top choice of college potentially be off the table because of money, even though he worked hard and got himself in? If you could truly understand the stress, the sacrifices, and the uncertainty that many of us face struggling to make ends meet, juggling multiple jobs, taking care of our families while pouring our hearts into our work, all while the district sits on plenty of funds, I think you may do things differently. I don't want to be vulnerable, I don't want to make waves, but tonight I am, because I need you to understand what it feels like. It is heartbreaking to give so much of yourself to your profession, to your students, and to this district, only to be told through budget decisions and prioritizations that you are not worth the investment. It is painful to know that the value I bring to this district is not being reflected in the choices you make. I trust that you will hear me, not just as a teacher, but as a person who deeply cares about this community and has for 31 years. I hope that you will reconsider the priorities, the values, and the actions that are being taken. Our teachers deserve to be recognized in a meaningful and respectful way. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I call for a motion for the consent calendar? Does anybody want to pull anything, please?
8E and F. I'm gonna make a motion.
I have a motion, E and F.
I make a motion to approve the consent calendar minus items 9B1, E, and F.
9B1, E and F. Okay, thank you. Do I have a second for the motion?
I'll second.
Okay, I have to go on, they'll be here forever. I have to. Thank you. I'll do a roll call vote for the consent calendar minus, we have a motion and a second. Mrs. Sabag?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Consent calendar minus 9B1, E, and F. We have a motion to
I'd like to pull 9H
H.
and 9E.
And 9E. Okay, I amend my motion to add H. So we've got 9B1, 9E, 9F,
And H.
and 9H.
Will you accept the, okay?
I'll second.
Okay, all those, Mrs. Sabag, voting on the motion as amended without those items? Yes or no?
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Yes.
Remy?
Yes.
Thank you. Dr. Stern?
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so 5 with a provisional to yes. Okay, I will make a motion to approve the personnel report B1, personnel report item B1.
Actually, do you mind if I make that motion? I just want to make the motion, but for page 44, lines 16 and 28, to clarify that the site is to be determined.
I don't have that, oh, I have to. Hold on just a second. Okay, you are taking item.
Do you want me to show you my page?
Let's see, that's B, consent calendar, B1 certificated,
Yes.
and your, and the item number on the line number, please?
So it's line number 16 and 28.
16, okay, line 16. Change of assignment? Is
Yes,
that
so those are fine. I just think that we need to put it to be determined on which schools.
Grade level?
Which schools?
I don't know that that has been determined yet. I think that's, is that still open?
That, yeah.
That's the correction.
Huh?
That's the correction that Ms. Manager is asking for.
Well, it says here from assistant principal to the learning lab.
For me, it's about the location, the site, and I believe that those individuals should be assigned to the opposite school.
So for the purpose of this meeting, the recommendation is to change the location to be determined,
That's
rather than a
correct.
specific site.
Okay, so we will be to be determined on that instead, okay. Okay, so the change of 16 to be determined, and the other one, please?
28.
28, Mr. Painter will be also to be determined. So change of the assignment will be to be determined rather than specific, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I'll call for the motion. Is that agreeable? Any other discussion?
I just need a second, please.
I'll second. Okay, a first and a second, Mrs. Manicherry and Ms. Dr. Stern. Okay. Okay, call for the roll call vote. Mrs. Sabag?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Javidzad,
Yes.
Dr. Stern,
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry,
Yes.
and Mrs. Marcus is a yes. Okay, thank you. I will call for the approval of agreement with the Right at School LLC for expanded learning opportunities, the program ELOP. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Stern. Who asked that this be pulled?
I did.
So did I.
Mrs. Sabag?
E, okay.
Do you want to
Yes.
go ahead and address that for us, Mrs. Sabag?
Yes, one moment, let me get to it. 9H, no,
E.
9,
We're on E.
okay, 1 second.
Approval of the agreement with Right at School for expanded learning opportunities program.
Yes, so a couple things that I have concerns about. They were saying that they will hire instructional teachers that are in our area only. I think, first of all, I would love to do a program like this, but we need to vet every instructional teacher that's going to be there because they are a part of us. So it would be the same as every teacher that we hire or comes on board, or every coach. It would be exactly the same. So that worries me. We need to know exactly who everybody is. And it's also a huge amount of money coming out of the general funds. And I'd like to hear, you know, what Mrs. Manicherry has to say and Dr. Turnus. And then if I can make some more comments after that, that would be great.
Dr. Steeman, do you want to address your concerns on that, please?
I'll just kind of set the stage to make sure that we're all on the same level of information. We've always actually offered this program for the last 2 years in collaboration with the City of Beverly Hills. Per education code, we have to offer extended school day and 30 consecutive school days over the summer for this bill, which was instituted in 2022. We went in partnership because we had a JPA agreement with the City of Beverly Hills. We were actually paying them the funds that we received for this educational bill directly to them, and the program just got too big. In that, they then brought on STAR, which you guys are hearing in the streets of, oh, STAR Education has been providing free after-school care for students that qualify through Title I services and EL under Ed Code. Again, we have just increased in size with students that are qualifying for both services. So to the point where we, about 2 months ago, in conversation with the City of Beverly Hills, we are now pulling and having to offer the program on our own. And that's what put us into this RFP process. We went and casted a wide net nationwide for the RFP process, which came down to 14 vendors that were able to meet the needs that meet Ed Code and the requirement for us to offer this to our students. In that, we had a comprehensive rubric, which numerous both site and district employees tallied and ranked to bring us to Right at School. We also interviewed and surveyed some of the highest performing school districts in the state. In that, we are actually utilizing the state level funds to pay a vendor because our staff and our administration is not able to stay here till 6 p.m. That's not part of our job descriptions and our negotiated teaching job descriptions. All school districts, LAUSD all the way up, utilize a third-party vendor. The third-party vendor is held responsible for vetting all instructors, just like it has been for the last 2 years. They used STAR Education, and before that, we used Adventure Camp through the city. So this isn't unique or weird to us. They have provided you with their insurance policy to be able to, if something were to happen, it goes directly to Right at School. We are no longer held responsible. We are basically paying the admissions for the students into this program, which is utilized by the highest performing school districts in the state.
Dr.
Sorry.
Seaman,
Yeah.
I know we've talked about
Yeah.
this. One of my concerns about it is that the contract exceeds our ELOP funding.
Yeah.
And so if you are, help me understand, first of all, when does this contract, when would it start? Would it start this summer?
June 9th.
Okay, so it would be to serve these kids beginning for 30 days and then presumably into next year.
Yep.
So if you're a non-Title I kid, you're still paying for, and you need aftercare, right? You're paying for STAR?
You would have the opportunity to participate in Right at School. We
Okay.
would, yep.
And what would the cost be?
So for our summer program, it's $1,200 for the full summer. So it's $40 for a day for the full 8:30 to 6
$40 a
p.m.
day.
Correct.
And is that during the year too? If you're a non-Title I kid, it's
during-
$40 a day?
During the school year, they have access to multiple programs. They have the adventure camp through the city, which runs probably roughly around $40 to $60. They would have access to Right at School. And we're also partnering with BHEF and the Board of Education on other potential opportunities for families.
So my issue with this, which I explained, was it's unfortunate that we're looking at a $1 million contract to serve our Title I kids, that the state is providing $600,000 in funding. So essentially, we are taking from our, presumably our general fund, $400,000 to be able to offer this program. And this is a result of no fault of our own. We did RFPs. This was what we thought was the best of all of them. So I guess my question is there's no way to run, to serve these students for the amount of money we're getting out of ELOP? So we're not having this $400,000 deficit? And did we have this $400,000 deficit last year as well?
No, well, we didn't. We had a little carryover last year, but the current year, we're definitely going to have to do a contribution. We're projected at 690. We're probably going to go over that. We're getting actually 518,000 from the state for this amount, but I'm projecting we'll probably hit over 700,000 in total cost. So we're going to have to do a contribution to make this whole. And again, I would also equate this to a bit of an unfunded mandate, if you will. A lot of districts are dealing with this. ELOP funding is determined by your unduplicated count. So since we're running around 33%, we just don't have as much funding. And so when kids do qualify, and we are going to go over, we have to contribute from the general fund to make the difference.
Is there a way that we can just offer it to the kids that actually qualify and as a result of that, or is it?
That is what the contract you're looking at. And so currently right now, 518 students is what we have to serve between the two locations. And so this is to not to exceed in case we see an increase going into the 24-25 or 25-26 school year. We saw a significant increase in this past school year. So what Dr. Hasey's stating is our allocation of funds is built off from the year prior. When we submit data to CalPADS, they calculate a per child expenditure based off the previous year's numbers. We've expanded the number of families that are qualifying for Title I services this year to the point that we're at 518. If you recall, even going back to like 2017, 2018, pre-COVID and pre-writer strike, we were maybe 8, 9, 10% free and reduced. We're up to 17% in some of our campuses. And so we're seeing a continual increase for need.
And is there a requirement for a certain time of day they need to be from when to when?
It has to be directly after school till 6 p.m.
Dr. C, did you have more? No, that's you mentioned a potential overlap. So for example, not in the summer, but you said that during the school year, some parents could choose Right at School versus the city programming. And so what does that do to offset the dollars that we're spending? Like, do we get a credit in that way? You know what I'm saying? Does it balance out?
Right at School will send monthly invoices, and we'll have someone internally who is checking that against the kids that are actually doing attendance, and we reconcile all those invoices based off the actual students they're serving.
Okay. So there could be like a credit back to
Yes,
us?
I mean, again, they're not going to charge us for students they're not serving.
Got it. But then, let's say I'm a first grade mom at Horseman, and so now it's the summertime and it's the end of the summer, and I'm trying to figure out what afternoon program am I gonna enroll my 7-year-old in, right? So,
If they're qualified.
well, but Dr. Seaman is saying that unqualified families can choose this program and pay for it out of pocket as opposed to the city program. I'm just a little concerned there that it might create some confusion, because then how do the parents choose? Is the city program the right one for them? Is the Right at Start program the right one for them? And the city program actually consists of 2 different programs. There's the Adventure Camp, which is the generic, you're there from end time up till 4 or 6 p.m. And then there's also the Parker Anderson enrichment classes. And so my first question is, we've got to double check with the city that they are okay with us offering this to our non-Title I students, because it might eat into their program where then it's not cost effective for them to run it. Has there been a conversation?
Yes, we've had that conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, and in our JPA too, we always have right to serve our students' immediate needs. So one of the things that we have also via the PTA, PTSA, and BHEA collaboration is we also heard that both elementary schools, our PTAs are looking for additional opportunities after the school day. And I'm working with BHEF with some of the other vendors that submitted RFPs to see if they can offer other opportunities covered under BHEF, potentially free for our students.
Yes,
They
I
do
know
not
what you're
qualify
saying.
for this.
Yes, I think those parents are looking for very particularized enrichment, like a math academy or something like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, back to my question. So I have a 7-year-old and I'm new to the district and I'm trying to figure out, do I enroll them at Right at School? Do I enroll them in the city's adventure camp or in one of their enrichment classes from Parker Anderson? So what does this program provide the students?
So
As compared, like.
yeah, totally.
What are they getting? So how do they know which one to choose?
Well, ultimately, we always, in partnership with the city, we always market our programs first to be able to ensure that we are informing our community of what is being offered. Example was this summer, as an example, we are offering and opening up our BHUSD summer school program to, say, a first grade student at Horace Mann. They received that communication to be able to understand what we were offering, both academic support in ELA and math, with a little bit of sports enrichment, nutrition, healthy eating, all those types of things. And then they can make that determination then when the city sends out their communication. I think most of our families, I'm going to be totally transparent, is they know which one their student would benefit most from. There are some students that actually even qualify for this program that choose to not participate because their kid needs to maybe run a little bit more and not receive tutoring, or maybe might feel burnt out after school and not want to, sit and do some VAPA-related crafts and math intervention.
Okay.
My question would be then, what if this were not approved and we decide not? What potential possibility do we put ourselves in if we don't have a program that complies with something like this? Is that my question?
That's a non-negotiable. We have to have a program. We receive funds, so it's like Dr. Hesse stated, it's almost a non-funded mandate again, even though we do receive funds. It's similar to Title I. Title III is an example. We have to provide EL services, but we only receive $27,000 annually to support our EL students. Yet we have 251 EL kids, but the federal and state only gives us $112 per child because we're also community funded. So it's very similar to that, is we have to provide after-school childcare with tutoring embedded, nutrition, and some physical activity that's structured. Those are kind of our 3 buckets that we have to hit. This program is top-notch. It's what our parents expect. Feedback from the city and some of the others, and we we have received emails as a collective too of some other of the after-school programs that aren't doing great. They maybe aren't responsive. They, where this program comes very highly recommended by some of our higher performing colleagues.
Do you know any, oh, sorry. I just wanted to know, do you know any other schools in the nearby area that also works with Right Start? Like when I was at West Hollywood Elementary, they had youth services, Beyond the Bell,
Yep.
et cetera. So,
Yep,
Can
we have
I can speak to
Redondo
that.
Beach, Palo Alto, Laguna Beach, Wiseburn.
Yeah,
so
my
multiple-
former district,
Yeah.
I worked very closely with them.
yeah.
Dr. Seaman?
Yep.
So is there a class
Can I
size?
I'm sorry.
Can I ask you, in our previous conversation, we had a conversation in regards to a federal funding that I saw at the conference in Anaheim, and I forget, do you remember the name of it? That does after-school programs?
Are we talking about categorical, Title I or?
Yeah.
Well, it's a program, it's a specific program that we have to be,
This is
we have to be approved.
Yep, extended learning opportunity program is what we're discussing. It's we use the acronym ELO-P, ELOP. But this is that child care bill that we receive state funding that is specifically earmarked to be able to provide extended child care both during recess, which is during the summer months, and after school for all of our students that qualify for multiple different scenarios. Our primary target in our district is for Title I students and for our English learning students.
Is there any way to do both programs? Because from speaking to other schools in regards to the other program, they were presenting it and they were very happy with it. It was after school.
This one's after school too. I'm a bit confused by the question, I think. Maybe I'm struggling with that.
I'm not sure if it's the same program.
Is this the lowest cost program of the proposals we got?
It is not the lowest cost. It's the second to lowest that could meet all of our basic needs. But again, this was a ceiling for us in case that as we're going into next year, if we increase enrollment. Star Education was right there with them that we used for the last 2 years in the district. And some of our local LAUSD has a contract, but they're pretty large, and sometimes we had staffing issues that us as administration and sometimes the city had to step in to cover for.
Can I ask people to also
That's
make
directly
sure
impacted.
they're looking at there's like a rubric, like a scoring system for the quality?
Yeah.
Now, who authored that assessment? Was that the city or who?
We use it in collaboration with other school districts.
Okay.
So
because I thought
I
it
would
was
love
pretty,
to say that.
I thought it was pretty robust and it helped
Yeah.
me. Let's see, I don't know if we could pull it up to look at, but it's, let's see, it was on our attachments. Total score of 15, and that, let's see, the different categories for that. Yeah, I can't find it up in front of me.
It was organizational capacity and community alignment. That was one category.
Fiscal management and development, agency infrastructure, because we're always looking for.
It's page 168.
Yep, to ensure,
Okay,
again,
thanks.
this is where the difference between your two top, which would have been Star Education and Right at School. And we still use Star Education for our GATE program.
Right, sorry, that's a pretty.
But at the largest capacity, as we've continued to grow, that agency kind of infrastructure and the organizational capacity and kind of that community alignment piece was the separators.
Right. So I thought that was, if I remember correctly from this rubric, the top recommended ones, the top scoring ones
Yep.
were in fact, wasn't it?
Right at School
Yeah.
and Star Education.
Right. So I don't know if that's a coincidence or those are the ones that.
Yep, and so some of the other ones that also submitted that thought that, again, just from the scope, I'm going to utilize like Hey Tutor is something that we are looking at potentially bringing back in partnership with BHEF, where they can provide tutoring services in both ELA and math. Not only though for elementary students, because we see a need in our middle school, but that's separate and outside of the box. But that doesn't fit the full scope of work that we are seeking, such as the play structure. They were really primarily focused on being able to provide instructional intervention and not, you know, when we're talking first graders, they need to run. They need an opportunity to be able to play. Again, we can kind of go down the list. There's Rainbow Chefs Academy, which I think is excellent. Again, it was a really great read. However, it was very specific in nature, and we're needing to hit the masses. And so we need a program that can offer us a robust set of activities that are still structured in intervention, but still providing enough variety to keep the kids engaged every day, because they're going to be there for 210 days in total when you actually do the calculation.
Not only that, one of the problems I've seen in schools in modern days is that a lot of kids, and it's not the fault of the parents, but sometimes there are childcare issues where you have a 6 or 7-year-old who is after school every day until 5 or 6. And I feel very bad. That kid is way too young, and I don't fault the parents because sometimes logistically that's what they have to do. But if you're gonna have a kid who's like under 8 for many hours a day, there has to be a really good program with good structure. It cannot just be, you know, warehousing them. There has to be, you know, the nutritional element, the play element, and the tutoring, and it's a big problem. I mean, I really see behavior problems because there are kids that are really young that are just really tired, you know, having your shoes on all day. Yeah. So I don't know. I trust this rubric scoring system. I've definitely heard of Right at School, Star Education, so I'm okay with it, but I'm glad that we opened this up for discussion.
If there's no further discussion,
I'd like to just add that, is this something that could come back on the May 13th? Or would that be too late?
Yeah, we're in about a 2.5 to 3 week ordering window for them to actually be able to ensure that they have staff. Any of these programs that we're actually kind of late bringing the RFP to us. I mean, for the board approval.
Look, I know this is my first day on the job, so, but what I did in my former district is we ran it in-house, and a lot of these Title I kids really need instruction. So we pay teachers to do after-school supervision / tutoring for these kids. And they got an intervention after school, and we hired somebody in-house to run the ELOP program. Now, we're talking about how many kids?
There's 581.
So about 250 at each site, or give or take.
Yeah.
Or do they all go to the same site?
No, it's site specific because we don't provide transportation between the two.
So I'd at least like 2 weeks to see if it's something we can run in-house for the amount of money we get from ELOP, rather than take a $400,000 hit and outsource something that we can maybe do better on our own.
I don't have the bandwidth, and I'm going to say this out loud.
Yeah.
This is something that we are less than 4 weeks away from the start of school, summer school. I still have to find enough summer school teachers to be able to work the 8:30 to 2:30. I would say that I struggle, we do, as a collective, for the after school. We've tried with
Summer
PTA.
after school,
But we've tried with PTA on just like clubs and activities on singleton days.
Is there a way to approve them for just summer?
I mean, I think we can go back and negotiate. I'd have to work with business services. I'm looking at you people back there.
So this is just but just to clarify, this is just a 1-year contract. So if we, I'm just confirming, right? So if we did approve it, and then we wanted to gear up for something more custom this time next year and have lead time, that would be an option. It's not a 3 or 5 year contract, right?
Yeah, it's a single 10-year contract, and that's what we were in with the city of Beverly Hills. We did, in year one, we really did try to recruit some opportunities that were kind of embedded in-house. And we've tried to do it in different venues too, even with our PTAs. We've tried to offer different interventions and enrichments after school.
I don't mind approving it through the summer so that we can live with it and experience it. And so that could be a healthy compromise where we're complying with the law, we're providing the services that we need to, and it's happening in just a couple weeks. I mean, we're May 1 basically today. And meaning that you have that approval going forward today, to pursue that. And then if you want to explore it for a couple weeks for the fall, we have the wiggle room where we can come back and say, actually, we do want to move forward with this through the course of the next year.
Yeah,
I'm easy either way. I could see that.
I'd like to try that.
Yeah.
Now, they may say no. They may say, hey, it's not worth our time for 30 days.
Yeah.
And that's a reality too. They may say, look, you know, this contract
Yeah.
is for a year.
Can I add something here?
We'll have no choice but to go with it.
Well, let me just, if there's just a summer school program, number one, I'm going to be a little bit of the devil's advocate, and many of the people that would do that program, if we would use our teachers, many of them are already programmed to do summer school and have made other plans for the summer. So I don't know, I mean, when you're talking about going back to just our staff, I would think.
Yeah, I was thinking more next year, not this summer.
Okay, because I think that, I tend to think that at this point, I don't want to take a $400,000 hit, and I'm a little concerned about what's called the 180 days, and then it says an intersession, 9 hours a day, both for TK through 5. It looks like it seems like a double dip there. What is it?
No, and that's why this actual comes in higher than what will actually be spent. And so like Dr. Hasty had stated, we're throwing around the word 400, and we're not even near that with just our summer school enrollment. So 581 students is what qualifies for the program, and we have to be prepared to cover them. Not all our students participate. In there as well, most districts will actually just cut over the check and let them run their summer school program. But like Dr. Cherna said, we lean on our expertise, knowledge, and training within our own teachers, and we prefer to own that process, that 8:30 to 2:30 time frame during the summer. But then our teachers want to go home and be with their own families, so we still need that gap between 2:30 and 6. Right. And that's what that's covering. So immediately, this overall cost that you guys are seeing is going to start plummeting.
Pro rata is everything, right?
100%.
So it's based on use and hours.
And monthly.
So you don't think it's going to cost that? You don't think?
No. And last year, we actually, in the city, and I would say if they're sitting here, and I love their partnership, but we mutually agreed that this has just become too large for them to manage alongside of us. That's why we need a vendor in play. We still had money left over from last year's EOLP that carried over.
So hopefully that money that's left over from last year, we will also have running a program this year, the same maybe amount of money, so it might not cost that much money altogether.
Yeah, and of the 581, I think we're sitting, and I'm looking at Dr. Sherman too,
Hello?
and back there.
They're having a problem with the Zoom, so they want us to reboot.
We can hear
hold-
you, Sigali.
I know, we're getting a message from KBEV that they need to reboot.
Okay, Chrissy's looking into that.
Okay, Chrissy's looking into
I
it.
just-
That makes me feel a lot better.
Me
that-
too.
That we're looking at the maximum amount here.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely,
Not to
yeah.
So
exceed.
this is
We
a
are.
not to exceed, and so if 518 students were to capitalize on this opportunity, 581,
Yeah.
which is significant, that's about half of our elementary school students.
Correct.
But it doesn't look likely that it would be that many students, nor for this many hours.
Yeah, we are sitting close to about 400 students that are enrolled to participate in summer school. But again, some of those, though, are actually paying for the program versus receiving the services for free based off the grant.
Wow.
Yeah.
So a few weeks ago, when we were first talking about summer school, we had something like 212 or 217 of our students been giving that opportunity. Those are the most need-based ones.
Yep.
So now it's grown to 400.
With our middle school program.
With the
because
middle-
I'm back on, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yep.
Okay,
In past,
beautiful.
we used to have about 30 kids in our middle school, and we're almost to 60 students in sixth grade alone.
Perfect.
That incoming sixth grade students. So,
Thank you.
Yep.
I mean, I'm comfortable to call for the vote and move forward.
That's what I was going to
Okay.
I'd like to call for the vote and
And
move
thank
forward.
you for working us
So
through
the
it.
motion is for the approval of the agreement with the Right at School LLC for Expanded Learning Opportunities Program, the ELOP, and I'm going to do a roll call, and I'll start with Mr. Javidzad.
Aye.
Okay, Mr. Stewart.
I apologize, because we were kicked off there for a few minutes. Are we approving with the modification with the instruction just for summer or as is?
No,
As is. Approval of the agreement as is, as listed in the agenda.
9E.
9E.
can I just make a notation to them since they were off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Stewart, Mrs. Sabag, we just want to clarify for you that this contract is a not to exceed, assuming 581 eligible students capitalize on this opportunity. But there would be a pro rata reduction on not using a full 9-hour day or students not attending. So that means that Dr. Hasty will be receiving a monthly report. And so the out-of-pocket $400,000 is the worst-case scenario, but in reality, we're expecting it to come significantly lower than that amount.
And also, there was some balance from last year carrying forward to help defray that cost. And the fact that there was some carrying forward from last year, that there would also be some carry forward for this year to offset the possible cost. So we're not anticipating that full $400,000 hit, as I can understand it.
I have a concern in regards to the staff. That's my concern. Financial, yes, also, but the staff is more of my concern.
Okay, Mr. Stewart and has not voted yet. Mr. Stewart?
Well, I haven't voted because I didn't hear the portion
Yeah.
which talked about the financial side. How much was left over from last year that is carrying over?
Does anybody have that figure? Do you know offhand, Mr. Hasty?
I thought that was last year that carried over for this year.
It carried over from last year to this year.
Sarkos is looking
It won't be carrying over for next year.
Yeah.
We already benefited.
At second interim, we're looking at revenues of 518, and then we were projecting to land around $690,000 at the end of this year. That's including that carryover from the previous year. So regardless if we just stayed with the program we have, we were still going to do a contribution this year.
So it would be like 120 or 150.
Yeah,
out of
I mean,
pocket, not
yeah,
400.
and based on again, there's a lot of pros and cons here, but I think we have to do it. I think we can explore how we can make this our own. I agree with Dr. Seaman as far as bandwidth. I've seen him, trying to get teachers to come out and do summer school and do extra hours, and it's just challenging. I mean, to work till 6 p.m.
But Sigali makes a great point, Dr. Seaman, which is what kind of oversight are you going to be able to have on the quality of the staff to make sure that, you're getting what you would hope for out of this program?
I mean, it's very similar to what we've experienced the last 2 years I always say this is if something were to have happened or if there was anybody that was not meeting our expectation standards or rigor, we hear about it immediately. And so that's some of the reasons why we're moving in a different direction is we know that there are other higher performing districts that are utilizing and that they do vet their instructors. When they mean that they're hiring locally, they're specifically targeting things like UCLA and LMU, USC.
And let's clarify for them, they may have missed it, that Palo Alto, Laguna, and so on,
Redondo Beach.
Redondo Beach, they're using this program.
Correct.
And again, the teachers or the workers that will be in there are live scanned, they're fully cleared, they're trained, they have a set curriculum. I went through the audit with them 2 years ago. The first time we had an ELOP audit, which was pretty rigorous this last time. And so I did do that in conjunction with Right at School, my former district, and it went very well, and they were very supportive, and they had all the supporting documents to make sure we were compliant with the statute.
Is the curriculum they're learning over the summer school curriculum that's going to be taught the following year, or is it just a review of what they already learned?
So two different things. We are in control of the 8:30 to 2:30 curriculum, so we utilize not only a 30-day program that's already built out through iReady. We've worked on different themes that are basically 2 weeks long, where we have certain novels and read-along books that we've selected and purchased with arts and crafts that will align with that, and some outdoor structured play. For Right at School, it's developmentally appropriate, so it is aligned with the California standards, and it's more of reading intervention, tutoring process, and structured support academically, and less of teaching new skills. It's reinforcing what was being taught during the day and providing tutoring opportunities for the students.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, I would like to now call for the question. I'll start with Mr. Stewart on the LLC for expanded learning opportunities.
Yes.
Yes, and Mrs. Sabag. Mrs. Sabag?
Yes, no, I'm thinking about it because I have a difficulty with this one. I wanted to know where the accountability, what is going to be the checks and balances, how are we going to vet them? I'm happy to hear that they're going to do live scan and everything.
Are you
but
saying no? Are you saying no?
No for now.
It's a yes, okay, and you're gonna be on top of what you discussed?
No, she said no.
She said no.
She said she's a no.
She's a no, oh, okay, I thought I heard, okay. Okay, Dr. Stern,
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry,
Yes.
and Mrs. Marcus is yes. So with the provisional, I called on Mr. Javijad. We have one provisional, it passes with a vote of 4 yes and 1 no. Mrs. Sabag is a no, okay? Now, I would like to move to approve the ratification of purchase order number 16 for 2024-2025. I believe that, Dr. Stern, you wanted to pull that item. Is there something
Yes.
specifically you wanted to discuss?
Right, so I was looking at these expenditures, and I understand this represents the period between April 5th and April 20th, right? So it's
Correct.
15 days. So when I see something like Disney workshop for 14,000,
Yep.
Was there backup provided for that?
Yes, there was, yes.
Okay, and was that with this agenda attachment, or maybe that went to the president when you signed it, Rochelle?
No. I haven't signed, that's a purchase order, but I did ask for what was that all about, and I was told what it was for, and it was something with the students doing something, and I don't know if there's someone here to discuss it.
I can give you the details, again, content-wise, but it was for a STEM trip to Disney for students. I want to say BVMS, and there were 74 tickets purchased. And again, I'm not sure when the trip was approved. However, it goes through the PO process as it is now, and I approved the POs to put them on there. But Dr. Seaman may be able to speak more to the
I have a question. When they do those trips to Disney and Mr. Pinto takes the kids from the theater class, I believe, the musical theater, the parents, they all pay themselves.
Is that what we're talking about here with this one, or is this a STEM one?
No,
not a STEM. That's why I'm asking
No, this is the STEM one is what Gil just.
So different from Mr. Pinto?
Yeah, this is different. The Oak, so that's in H. Oak is one of the workshops that Fred Pinto, Judith Chan, and Krista Gutenheinz every year. It's the competitive.
Chicago.
Correct.
No, not Oak. I'm not talking about Oak. I'm talking about Disneyland.
This is separate. This was a STEM-related field trip that BVMS, so Elena Castanon, the science department, took students on, but it predominantly is covered by the parents, correct?
Right, but the 14,000 was a charge that we incurred.
Correct, but then there's, and I look at business, they were paying back the coverage.
Yeah.
Here comes Mary Lou.
I'm like, that's a lot of Mickey Mouse. Sheesh.
But again, it was a donation account too. But.
I don't know if you can hear me, but the account that starts with resource 90091, that is our donation accounts for the middle school. So when we receive the checks from the students or the parents, we have accounts receivable deposits that into that account string, that funding source, and so when we pay on behalf of the students, that's where it's coming from. So that 900 resource, that's that donations account. And then there are a few charges to Title I to support some students that we have to pay from Title I.
Got it. Okay, totally
Thank you,
understand.
Marilu.
So, yeah, I think, so where would I have found like that explanation so I don't have to like bug you about these things? Like,
The chart of accounts Again, there's a bit of research that has to be done. We don't have the chart accounts posted to this one, but last time we did, we can post the chart of accounts, and that would have your resources and the titles of the resources.
Also, the Q and A could.
Yeah.
I just mentioned that, yeah. I
And it
did
was in
ask
the
about
Q&A.
that in my Q&A, and
Okay.
I got what I asked for, and,
Mickey Mouse. No. Okay.
no,
So, and that-
I'd
and
like to
that's-
call for the question, for the ratification of the purchase order report number 16 for 2024-25. I'll do a roll call. Mr. Javidad,
Yes.
Mr. Stewart,
Yes.
Mrs. Sabag,
Yes.
Dr. Stern,
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry,
Yes.
and I will be a yes. It passes 5-0 with a provisional yes. Okay, we have a question about for the approval of conferences and workshops, number 2. I don't know who pulled that. Who pulled number H? Was that you, Mrs. Sabag?
Yes.
Could you explain what I will move for approval
Yes.
of the conference and workshop number 2. Do I have a second?
I'd
No,
like to-
I have I
Me
pulled
too.
it, so we have
I can do it if you want, Sigali.
the question, okay, and then.
No, we have
I'll-
to get it's approval.
Well, I wanted to make a modified motion so that it would approve the first 4 items, but not the 2 which are out of state.
Okay.
And so Mrs. Marcus, if you'll, do you want to remove your motion and I can make mine, or do you want to adopt my motion?
I would rather, let me see here, approval of conferences and workshops.
Do you want me to talk about the 2 items?
You're going to remove the
So,
food services one at the end?
yeah, I mean, of course, we want all of our staff to get trained and be supported and evolve and learn, but to me, I think that the out-of-state ones is something that we should consider or reconsider. So I'm comfortable with the first 4. I'm comfortable to send the folks in food services locally, but I think that an out-of-state, experience is
Well,
coming at the taxpayer's cost.
My question, is there one that they can attend locally where it doesn't require them to go out of state?
And I hear you. I just want to make sure you
I
understand.
need a second for my motion first.
Well, I'm not withdrawing my motion yet. I want to get a question.
2 things. It's the National Lunch School Program, and this is a national conference for the lunch program. The second thing is, back to that resource, you see that 70320, that's KIT funding, which is grant funding that is actually, there's money put aside for this specific reason to do conferences and PD. So I just want to put that out there, so we're using grant funding for this, and it's for the National Lunch Program.
Okay.
Does that grant money disappear if it's not used?
Yes, it will have an
So
expiration date.
it has to be spent.
We have spent KIT funding.
Good question.
All right, so my motion is to approve item H of conferences and workshops. I have not had a second yet.
I will second it.
Okay. Okay, any other conversation on it?
Yeah, I would just like to say that to the extent possible, I'd like to send our folks, now obviously I'm always going to support student trips out of state, but as far as professional development opportunities, I do want our staff to start looking at comparable opportunities in state. And whether it's grant funded or not, I think maybe not specific to this, but moving forward, I think it's important that we look at comparable conferences in state when we can, because we want to be mindful of the cost.
Absolutely.
Also, can I chime in there? This is for July. We have time. Can we pull that grant? I'd like to take a look at it.
Yes, we can do that.
Thank you.
I will
So can
call.
we pull this off to the next board meeting?
Oh.
What'd you say?
Hold it off to the next board meeting?
She's asking if we want to table this.
Well,
I don't think we can table it because some of them are coming up this month. Right.
No, the July ones we can table.
well, the motion includes all of them right now, Mrs. Sabag. So the motion has been moved and seconded to approve it as it is presented. I don't know if we, we're looking at a possibility, the next meeting being in the middle of May. Many of them may have already registered for this event. I don't know if that would be the case.
So we can pull the whole agenda, and some of them already did the conference. So that's April 23rd, March 5th, so that's already done. And then there's May 23rd, which we have time because our next board meeting's on the 13th, and we can pull it until the next time.
Okay. Well, I'm going to call for the question, and then you can vote if no, if that's the case, okay? All right, Mr. Javidzad?
Yes.
Yes. Mrs. Sabag?
No.
No, thank you. Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Dr. Stern?
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Yes.
And Mrs. Marcus is a yes. The passes 4-1, one no vote, and a provisional from our student. Thank you very much. Okay, at this point, I think we're ready for the bond program updates. Mr. Carrot, Mr. Salafonder and Solari.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mrs. Marcus, board members, and Dr. Turnus. Welcome. We're excited that you're here for this meeting so we can present our bond program update. And I'm going to pass it off to Mr. Amin Solari and Elliot Meyer to do the presentation.
Good evening, board members. Dr. Turnus, congratulations, welcome. I'm very happy to do another bond program update again. Every time that we are here, we have more and more good news, and it's all very exciting. I don't see the presentation, Will, so.
There it is.
Okay, a lot is going on since our last update, which I think it was in October. Basically, we are in full force and contracted for 3 of our main projects. Just to refresh some memories, this is how your high school site is gonna look like after all of our project is fully completed. Right now, we are in construction for New Conheim or Building C, which is that building that the arrow is referring to right now. We are also in construction for upper athletic field projects. That's 6 tennis courts and the softball field on that further corner of the site. And we are in construction for B3, B4, which is our basically art and performing arts centers for the high school. And our next or last future project is going to be the South-South Athletics. That's the football stadium, sorry, and the baseball field. And obviously the parking lot that we are going to have at the far end of the site. Next, please. So as I mentioned, our in-progress projects, we are moving forward with Building C or New Conheim, which is our new gymnasium, an outdoor swimming pool, and 2 retaining walls that needs to be built to be able to build the actual building and the pools. And also further tonight, hopefully you are going to vote for the adding the Grand Lawn as part of this contract. This work is already started. They started on October 26, 2024 with the first portion of the GMP for Soonerton that you approved. And our goal is to have the substantial completion of the building and the swimming pool by October 2026. And the project will have the final completion by end of 2026. The temporary students and walkway, that was a part of our last presentation. It's done and is basically in service. That's the path that the students are using right now to connect to the existing Conheim and the upper side of the high school. northern portion of the Grand Lawn and new drop-off area. Our hope is that after approval of the contract tonight, to be started in August and be done by January 2026. Tennis courts and softball fields, as part of Upper Athletic Field project. The work is already started in January and it's going to be in service in August. So that portion is going to be ready for the students to use, the tennis courts and the softball field. Retaining wall number 2 of an athletic plaza, which is also part of the same contract, will be done by November or December of this year. And obviously B3, B4 was in construction for such a long time, and that's also going to be fully completed and in service in August when the students come back to the school. Our upcoming projects, these are some of them are addition. We had a conversation about a security upgrade, which is additional cameras and security systems at Beverly Hills High School, wherever they didn't have coverage, Beverly Vista and Horseman. This is right now in procurement process, and we are hoping to have that also starting during the summer and be done by end of the summer. This is all mainly like low voltage and adding some devices. Heath Road asphalt paving, now that we are completing the athletic part, basically the art portion, B3, B4, we better to have like a beautiful street for a student to walk because it's not going to be there any more construction to damage it. So this summer we are planning to pave a main portion of the Heath Road basically from the end of building A to the main gate of the high school. That's also going to be done this summer. And Beverly Hills High School Southside Athletic Field, which is the last basically major project for the bond program, is going to start in January 2027 after completion of New Conheim. And our hope is to have that fully completed and final completion by end of 2027. So basically by end of 2027, eventually you are going to have a high school free of construction and everything is going to be 100% done. Some progress photos. This is the interior of B3, B4, the auditorium. As you can see, the ceiling is complete. The seats are in order and it's going to be here very soon. Next week, they are going to start in next, like the 10 days, they are going to start flooring. So this is going to look totally different. Every day, if you walk the site right now, they have about 50, 60 workers working, and basically you see the change day by day as we are getting closer to the finish line. Next, please. That's how our building C is gonna look like. Again, just a refresher that this is gonna be your new Conheim project. Basically, this is facing Moreno. Next, please. These are the 2 retaining walls that basically that's the first step for building this building. It's about 80% complete. We have to build these walls to be able to start digging for the foundation. And as you can see, the walls are about 80% complete. The Grand Lawn, as was promised, this is the section that's going to be completed by the end of this year. We are going to start in August after completion of B3, B4. Again, hopefully you approve this contract. It's up for vote in the future items of this board meeting.
Minute,
Sure.
please. I was under the impression, I know it's toward the end of the report, but I was under the impression that the front lawn would have been ready in August at the start of school next year.
That's what I recall.
Yes, that's absolutely right. We were exploring the idea to do this work through Provost.
I know it's 2 parts, but I was under the impression that about 2/3 of the lawn would have been ready for the beginning of the 2025 school year, and I noticed in your report that it's been moved back.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to explain. So we were planning to do that as an amendment to Provost contract, to the existing contract for Provost. The price that they submitted was not very favorable, so we explored.
Okay.
So in order to save more money, we also explored the idea and went asked Sunerton to price it also. and the cost difference was about, if I remember, $1.3 million. So I thought it's gonna worth to wait like 4 or 5 months and save $1.3 million.
Thank you for that explanation, but I would know that when I went through this at home, that was the one thing that caught my eye, and I was waiting for the explanation, and I was trying to catch up with it here, so thank you for that explanation.
Can I ask a concrete question, or not grass question? When would students actually be able to access the lawn in any part?
December or January, like by
Not
end of.
before that?
No.
Okay, thank you.
So basically, again, as was promised, that's the portion that will be completed. It may be a little bit further because now it's all part of the student contract. We may be able to just make it a little bit, maybe about like 10 feet more than what originally was promised, but more or less it's going to be the same shape and same area. That's the upper athletic field project that we discussed. This your 6 tennis courts. Actually today they poured all the light poles and foundations for a small retaining wall that we have to maintain that area, and also this whole area, including the softball field, that's all going to be completed by August. The athletic plaza, the basically south side, that's the portion that's going to be remaining, including that restroom building. That's going to be completed by November or December. So this whole area before end of calendar year is going to be accessible to the students.
Can I ask another question then?
Sure.
We have the tennis courts, that's the softball field, right?
Yes.
What's the field below it? Is that the baseball field?
That's going to be your future baseball field, but that's part of the south side project.
That's part of the south side?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And that's basically the grading operation for the upper athletic field. It's, again, as of today, it looks totally different because they have all the fence posts and light posts foundation done. And again, every day it looks different.
Okay, let's, any other comment from, anything else from you? That's it?
No, I'm not done yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's another smaller project that was basically added to our bond program at Horseman. If you remember last summer, shaded structure is also was some ADA upgrades, and the fencing and the gates that was part of the items that the board was directing us that we have to have the correction to the access for the parents and seating areas. All of that is done and complete now. Tonight, I'm requesting for approval of the last amendment to Superintendent contract, the GMP number 3. Basically, that would conclude the entire scope for Building C project. That's $62 million. Original estimate that we received from Superintendent was 57. The gap between these two numbers is due to night work and operation that was basically imposed to the program that we have to do all the excavation and export of the soil during the night. But budget-wise, we are in good shape because now that we are narrowing down all the contracts, like we have all the soft cost contracts also in place, so we know how much exactly everything costs. So we are shuffling all the money around. We are still within overall budget for the project, so that didn't add anything to the deficit of our program.
Sorry, I just want to clarify for the community who's watching. The differential between the initial estimate of 57 million versus what it's gonna for sure end up at approximately 62 million is not because Swinnerton changed things up on us. It's because the governmental agencies required that BHUSD perform a lot of the site work and the groundwork in the evening. And the result of that is that it cost us almost $6 million more. And so I would just caution anyone to not jump to the conclusion that it's because our Swinnerton GC switched something up on us. It's because the state environmental authorities required us to perform that in the evening. And of course, we want to be as conservative as possible in our approach when we're dealing with environmental matters. And so the almost $6 million bump that you're seeing there is because governmental agencies required us to do night work, which is much, much more costly.
Thank you. A great point. And again, we had all of that budgeted for in our contingencies. We were exhausting all our research to see what can we do to minimize this cost impact. In overall bond program, this doesn't have that much of impact on our budget. So again, I ask later for if you vote for this for the approval. So that would conclude the contract for Building C. So everything is scoped out, and this is going to be the full and final price to build Building C, the outdoor swimming pool, and the adjacent site works. Next, please. Okay, the fun slide that I always love. So since 2022 that we took over the bond program, my pledge always was to finish this program and narrow the gap and hopefully get rid of all the deficits that we have. When we started, just again to refresh everybody's memory, we were hearing that something between $90 to $120 million deficit if you want to finish all of your projects. Since then, we added one project, this upper athletic field project, which means the 6 tennis courts and the softball field never was in your budget. We added that project, which is about $17 million project, that was added to the project, and every day we are trying to narrow down that deficit. So we started from 90 to 120. As of my last presentation, we were at 16.5. Despite the fact that, again, despite the fact that we added we had that added cost because of the night work, because we got a little bit more developer fees and also shuffle the money around the budget and the interest that you gain on your bond. As of today, that number is 16.2, if I see it correctly. So that basically that number is very close, and even a little bit less. So that's all the value of our current project. So after today, this is the full project budget, so including all the soft costs and the construction value. So the Building C contract is going to be in place after tonight. Grand Lawn project contract is going to be after your vote and approval, hopefully in place tonight. Upper athletic field contract is already in place. The estimated budget for Southside project, that also includes some contingencies for the night work and whatever that may impact, so we feel comfortable for that with that budget. And also the budget, the new 2 line items, $100,000 to do the paving on the Heath Road and the campus security upgrades, the estimated cost. We are including all of that, and still we are less than the deficit that I presented last time. One thing that we discussed with Dr. Hasty and Mr. Carrot, we have $6.8 million technology set aside money that, because the great job that your financial team is doing, and now they have set aside budget on the general fund, that's not needed anymore. So conservatively, again, we can even bring the whole 6.8 back, but we can just, let's say, even if we want to keep some of that, about $6 million of that back to the construction program.
Yeah, and I just want to accent, so right now we're at 6.8 for the tech, and I know there was a plan, we started around 13, but this will also interact with another item for the refresh for $480K. So just keep that in mind. If we were to go forward with the purchase today for those refresh on the laptops, the Chromebooks, per this, we would still be roughly around over $6 million left that we can reallocate to the bond program moving forward.
So again, conservatively, for the budgeting purposes, I consider only 6. So
and one last thing, sorry, and then back to the refresh, going into next year, as we look at more refreshes down the line, we've already been putting that $500,000 away per year in our fund 17 and restricted. So it's something we can consider down the line where we won't have to use bond funds because we have this other money saved.
Can I just make one comment?
Sure.
First of all, thank you for everything.
course.
Secondly, in regard to the technology, I know I've been screaming from the mountaintops that the ATM is closed, and thank you for hearing that. The fact of the matter is, we were told not too long ago, a couple years ago, that you were actually giving a lower number. I was told we'd be between 120 and 180 million dollars short, and that was before the Fonder Solari team and Will and Raphael came on. And I cannot express my gratitude to you enough on behalf of this community for what you've done for our children and our taxpayers. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because before you came along, we were being asked to brace for another taxpayer bond. And thank goodness for you that we did not have to do that. And so now what we're seeing is that instead of being short 90 or 120 or 180 million dollars, we're only going to be short $8 million. And I really appreciate that our team has started to build the tech fund so that we're instead using our bond dollars for our construction, so that down the line we're not going to have to cut programs because we use those dollars for laptops. And I think at the end of the day, everyone's going to be really grateful. And so if I'm not here in a couple of years, I ask all of you to be reminded that the bond dollars need to be protected in a very big way. Otherwise, if we do not receive the state modernization funds that we are counting on, hoping on, we're going to have to cut programs. And so we have to be very conservative and protective of the bond dollars. So I thank you so much.
Of course.
And this really demonstrates that sometimes change is good, and it's really important for boards to have the courage to make change, to go out, to do an RFP, and to see what the open market will provide us. And that's what you guys did for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say one more thing. You brought up the state modernization grant, and if you pull up the slides again for us, you'll see Amina's going to go over to the bottom line number, but this does not include some of the anticipated funding we're still eligible for. There's over $4 million that we've already submitted for, and there's up to, definitely not making any promises, but there's still about 25 million on top of that that we're eligible for, but we haven't submitted on that yet. We have to wait until June 2025 to submit those applications.
Thank you.
So that's in a couple months. So do we have a plan for when we think we'll be submitting the applications for the other funds?
We not only have a plan, we also already have the applications put together. We just can't submit them. And then the timeline, though, on when we receive those funds is well off into the distance. So if we do come to a point where we do need those funds and we're close to the end of the bond program, we'll have to talk about the COPS or some sort of gap loan or some other way to fund it until we get those funds. But within the next year, we'll have a better idea of exactly how much we're getting and then the timeline of when we will get that. There's also two other things. There's still some other funds coming in. We're not going to show them on here because we're not, they're not in our budget yet.
I was just going to ask that question.
Others.
What about the El Rodeo funds?
Exactly. So the $350,000 from AYSO is not shown in this budget.
I know, but I'm talking about the seismic thing from the state funding. We haven't gotten that yet, I don't believe, for El Rodeo, have we?
Can we have the slide back on the screen? I believe that would help. The seismic fund is already in place. You are eligible for other state matching fund. Yes, you are going to receive that money, but it's not in this budget because conservatively we want to show what we have in our hand right now, and we are not banking.
But that could help us.
Definitely. And again, if we get the slide back, I'm going to explain further how this is all going to work.
Okay, thank you. Let's go around for any comment.
I think they want to show a little bit more.
Oh,
Yeah. So while we are waiting for that, our last project is the Southside project, which is your football stadium and baseball field and some supporting buildings. So the swimming pool is part of Building C. Swimming pool is going to be done. is not part of the south side.
So that has to be done though with the demolition of the old con.
No, the swimming pool is gonna be built before demolition of your old Conheim.
Before the old Conheim is
Yes.
destroyed.
So the swimming pool will be done by December 2026. So again, the last project, that $34 million project, is basically the only thing that's gonna be left over not being under contract after tonight. Technically, you are under construction contract for everything except for that one and two small projects that we have. We have plans in mind. We are gonna start doing pre-construction and value engineering. We are gonna do extensive value engineering on that south side. My whole goal is, again, with a little bit of money that we can save here and there and some other money that for sure we are gonna receive, either to finish the projects with whatever we have in our hand without even counting on the rest of the state allocated funds, or we can do it in two phases. If you don't want to get a COP loan, we can just phase the south side project, because regardless by 2028 you are going to receive some state money. So whatever we can finish with the money that we have right now, we can just make it phase one for the south side and finish it, and the rest of that, based on whatever is value engineered and left, can be done after that, even if you don't want to go through the hassle of getting a COP or paying interest. So that's also a possibility. Very soon, I'm going to come back in front of the board and present the result of those value engineerings. So you are going to see it, like, if we want to phase it, what's going to happen. And by that time, hopefully, we are going to have a better understanding of where and how we are going to get the state funds.
And to answer your question, Mrs. Marcus, we are eligible for another $7 million for El Rodeo. That's part of the July application that we'll be submitting, but we're eligible for that much. We're not positive how much we'll get.
So next, I think we have. So night work also was a point of concern for some of the community members. I want to address that we are doing whatever in our hand that's possible to mitigate and minimize the noise. As you can see, we have some blankets around whatever noisy equipment that we have. And not only that, there are noise monitoring devices at perimeter of the site. We have agency approved level of the noise every night below. There are 24/7 monitoring people at the site, and then as soon as the noise is above the level, the operation is being stopped, and they make sure that they are mitigating. I understand, again, there is a little bit of disturbance, and work at night is not pleasant, but there is no other way, unfortunately, around it. We are doing whatever in our hand to mitigate and minimize the noise, but there is a little bit of noise going on. I just wanted to for the transparency, show what's happening during the night. If we can go to the next slide, please. So these are the duration of the night work. So by June, about 90% of all the night work is going to be complete. So the retaining walls, the excavation and foundation of building C, everything, hopefully by end of June will be done, and we are not going to have that much of night work after that. We are going to have 2 more windows, each one about 10 days, that they have to do another shift of the night work. One is for the excavation of the basically building D is the facility building serving the swimming pool, and also for excavation and digging the swimming pool itself. So there are another about like 10 work days windows to each one of them that we are going to do some night work. So majority of that, about 90% of that, will be done by June, and there are 2 small windows that we have to do night work after that. And I would like everybody to invite to look at the site. Every day you see changes. We have on average, I want to say about 110 workers working every day at Beverly Hills High School site. So a lot of things are happening and a lot of moving parts. Every day things are changing. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions if there is any.
Did the budget cost, I mean, there was the budget cost including the swim gym and any renovate, and then do you know an ETA for the swim gym?
You mean the damage that was done? Yes. Hopefully everything will be done within next 60 days. We are waiting for the only part that we are waiting is a design. There was an unforeseen, basically under the old building that caused this. We just want to make sure that, because now the configuration of the site is changing, we want to make sure that this is not happening again. So there is some waterproofing that needs to be done. That's under design. The wood flooring is gonna start being delivered to the site, I believe, within next 10 days. It needs to sit there to climatize, and they're gonna install it. So everything within the next 45 to 60 days will be complete. Okay. And we are not paying anything for that, so there is nothing in the budget. The contractor is responsible for taking care of that.
Okay, thank you. And then also for the swimming pool that's coming in December 2026, would students be allowed to, are students able to swim in that like right after it's ready, or is there a time period?
That's not my call, but this project is complete. Yes, it's swimmable. If they let you to swim in that, I don't know, but you can.
Thank you.
Yeah, that would be a call for the board and the superintendent once we get there.
Mr. Solari,
Yes.
for the 2 surface lots on the south side, those parking lots?
Yes.
What is currently there at those locations?
It's an old Veneco site.
It's the old Veneco site.
Yes.
So is it because my understanding is when the new Conheim athletic building and the associated outdoor pool are done, that's when the old Conheim will come down
Yes.
and get worked into the southern athletic fields.
Correct.
Okay, but then going around, we have a parking shortage at the high school, and it's a pain. Is it possible to begin, I understand that there's a lot of retaining wall work as we go south, so you might be hindered, but is there any way to bump up the 2 surface lots on the south side?
You
so
mean
that we're
you mean
separating-
start the construction of this? Yes, we can explore that. The only dilemma to that is that whenever we start that, you are going to use your football stadium.
Okay,
So
so it's not just the Veneco, but it
no,
also
because we have
takes-
we have to demo to have access to that. Basically, we have to demo that whole area to start the construction of the south side.
Okay.
But our goal is to minimize the duration for the entire project. So to answer your question, yes, we can start that
There.
project from that side, but we are gonna basically, when we award that contract, you are gonna lose your football stadium.
So then it's better to start it at the same
Yes,
time?
yes,
Okay, and you'll be presenting to us the potential phases
yes, definitely,
soon.
yeah.
When can we expect that in the next 30, 60, 90 days?
I want to say within next 3 months, because we are still, there is also a ramp to drive into that parking lot. That was the concern of the board that we are working on with the city and our design team. So I want to be able to present a solution to that when we are presenting that. We are working on that part right now.
And then the pathway coming down from the side of the tennis courts and the softball field, the pathway is not part of the field project that's going to be done this August, right?
If you are referring to the
Yeah.
plaza, no,
Yes.
this is part of the.
Conheim.
No, this
No.
portion is part of the upper athletic field project.
Oh, it
this,
is?
This plaza is going to be completed by December.
Okay,
So by end of this year, this plaza is going to be completed.
beautiful.
That also includes a restroom building that's basically is going to serve your softball and tennis courts.
What is
Thank you.
the long drive down? Is that the Heath Avenue that you're talking about? It goes up like that?
Yeah, that's Heath.
That's Heath Avenue?
Yes.
And that's gonna be pre-paved?
From the corner of that building,
Mrs. Marcus, your mic is not on.
Thank you.
from the corner of building A, where the cursor is right now,
Yeah.
all the way to the gate is going to be repaved to just make it look nice because it was under construction for a long time.
Then be finished when it will be finished when the
The
tennis
rest of
court-
that is going to be finished with the rest of the project, yes.
Okay.
But the Heath Road asphalt will be done by the summer.
Oh, okay, good, thank you. Let's see if anybody else has any questions. Mrs. Sabag?
No, thank you. It looks amazing. Can you repeat when the high school will be completely finished?
Hopefully at the end of 2027.
Complete, okay, thank you.
Mr. Stewart?
I don't have any questions, but I just want to say thank you so much for the incredibly thorough presentation. And I just know that the community and especially the students, almost 2.5 generations of Beverly Hills High School students don't know a day of school without being, in a construction zone. So I think it's just an incredible conclusion to a very long journey. And thank you so much for all of your hard work and effort. And I know that the entire community is very looking forward to a brand new school that will be amazing for a very long time without any construction walls up. So
Thank you
again.
so much. It wasn't possible without board support and the community support. And again, by the end of this calendar year, hopefully the construction is going to be confined to the south side of this. So your basically main educational area is going to be all for the students, and hopefully you're not going to see construction in the middle of campus.
Would be lovely. Thank you.
Dr. Stern?
No, I'm all set. Thank you.
Okay. I guess thank you very much for that presentation. It's very good, and I'm very hopeful that we're going to be remaining on schedule as we have, and the news about the financial is even better. So for that, we really thank you. So
thank you.
Keep it up.
Thank you.
Of course. Thanks, Elliot.
Okay, we're ready to move into personnel services. Item A has already been dealt with, so we don't need to, that was approved earlier in the closed session and then came out of. Approval of the 2025-26 certificated classified management salary schedule. Do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion for the approval of the 2025-2026 certificated classified management salary schedule.
Thank you, Dr. Stern. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Mrs. Sabag. She's on time. Okay, so is there any questions or discussion on this of the certificated classified management salary schedule? Anybody have any questions or concerns? None? Hearing none, I will call for the approval of the motion. Mr. Javidzad?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabag?
Yes.
Dr. Stern?
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so it's a 5-0 with a provisional yes from the student member. Okay, I need a motion for the approval of the Director of Athletics. Anybody want to make that motion, or should I go ahead? I will move for the approval of the Director of Athletics and JPA, a district-level administrator with a job description. It is a certificated job. To a motion made by Mrs. Marcus.
I move to second.
Thank you very much.
I have a comment.
Okay, hold on one second.
Yep.
Let me just mark this down. Okay, Dr. Stern.
Yeah, just a comment. So I really liked the idea, Russell Stewart had spoken about coordinating logos and the brand and uniforms, and I think that is a very good point. I think when we have a team that looks, as top-notch as we are for Beverly Hills, I think it's very important. Just a cursory read of the description for the Director of Athletics. Is there any way we can throw in there that this person is also responsible for the, I don't know if it's the coordination or the procurement or the being on top of it? It sounds like a superficial thing, but it really isn't. To have everyone united with good uniforms, I've heard from lots of families that, they show up and they feel like the kids aren't outfitted the way that they would like them to be. So is that a possibility to add that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, any other comment? Questions?
I definitely would love to second what Mandy had just said. I think having an athletic director that has strong knowledge and a passion for a professional look
Yep.
across the board, and someone who has experience in dealing with berms and ordering, and also keeping track of not only our uniforms, but also our equipment. So yes, I definitely concur about adding any kind of language in there.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have done that had
I
you
would
not
say that.
brought up the point initially or a couple of meetings ago about the logo, which I think is a point well taken. And I also want to say that that should go for robotics and other activities. But anyway, thank you.
So
I definitely want to say that as well, is that I know that this particular thing that we're talking about is the director of athletics.
Yes.
But on the branding side of things,
Right.
it's definitely not a sports only thing.
No.
It will be across the board throughout the entire district for everyone.
Mr.
I
Hastings?
appreciate that, and I just want to clarify the direction of the board is to ensure we have some language around trademarking, adding also overseeing procurement and also managing inventory.
Yes.
And what one is that under?
This is under the Director of Athletics and
No, is
JP.
there another one under the other one, though, that would bring that in, so it would consolidate both of them together? Are you putting it into the JPA one there?
Well, yeah, it's the same one, and what you're doing is you're going to motion to approve it with those amendments.
Can you bring that back then with that additional comment at the next meeting, so we can approve that as an addition?
Or you can just approve it conditionally that we're going to add that language to this job
Okay,
description.
well,
trying to approve it
Sorry, what's
conditionally.
the language exactly?
Yeah, that's what I want to.
We're adding in the job description, essential functions will also be overseeing trademarking and licensing of, outfit uniforms for athletics, also the procurement thereof, and then we can add language around managing and monitoring all inventory of athletic gear, uniforms, and.
But they want to include other activities, like the kids that go to robotics.
So this would not fall under the.
This is just the job description for athletics and GPA.
This will only be for athletics.
Yeah, what Mr.
then.
Stewart is referring to, this should become more of a standard among our job descriptions. When we're talking about trademarking and licensing, and we want to start including this in other job descriptions.
Hold on one second,
Absolutely,
guys.
thank you, Dr. Yates.
Russell?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. I just want to flush through this because
Right.
procuring the branded uniforms is not necessarily going to be done by the same person who is working on the trademarking and licensing.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
So it could be collaborate with district staff with respect to, I just would hesitate to put this person in charge of that because maybe the business office has
You're
to be
absolutely
the,
right.
you know
You're
what I'm
speaking to
saying?
segregation of duties, which
Yes.
should, yeah, so we'll make sure that we use
Sorry,
that.
I wasn't totally clear when I heard the word licensing. I thought that was just like a general understanding to
Yes.
say
Yeah.
that the athletic director would follow guidelines
Yes,
of
they would follow
the
the
license,
larger guidelines.
Adhere
not to be a
to-
part of the
yes.
actual.
Adhere
branding
to
license.
support the branding policies of the district, so on. I hear you on that.
Exactly.
I know you love the L word, licensing, and it seems like Mandy does too these days. Yeah.
Okay, so with that consideration, would you please make a note of that, Dr. Hasty? We are going to call for the motion on item C. Mr. Javidan?
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Okay, Mrs. Sabag?
Yes.
Dr. Stern?
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Yes.
Mrs. Marcus is a yes, so it approved 5-0 with a provisional from a student member. Okay, the next is a ratification. We move to ratify a memorandum of understanding between the Beverly Hills Unified School District and the Beverly Hills Education Association regarding occupational therapists. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Any questions or
Yes.
discussion?
So just to be clear, this is an MOU to align the occupational therapists to where they should be in accordance to other staff members?
Correct. An MOU was negotiated between the district and BHEA, and it was signed back in November. And this reflects their educational level with their certificate. And they're not certified. They have a license, I believe, and a master's degree to do this job. And the 197 days reflects 182 normal school days. But traditionally, with the fact that we only have 2 of these staff members, they split the 30 days throughout the summer. So that is why we have 197 total days. And then again, that dollar amount equates to their daily rate, which is the days they work. And so this does put them online and in the same line with others like jobs.
At the present time, do we have occupational therapists on our staff? Are we
We have
out
2.
surfacing it? We have them on our staff?
Yes.
Okay.
And was this something that was overlooked in previous, when they were hired?
Correct. It's, best practice, not when they were hired, but best practice would be if this MOU is negotiated, we would sign it conditionally pending board approval, because it would be an excess cost, which it is an excess cost to the district. So it would then be brought to board to be approved officially by the board. And at that point, we could take action to pay these individuals as required by the agreement. Since it was not technically taken to the board for approval, this is what I would call a cleanup situation, because we have not been able to pay these 2 employees what they were supposed to be paid back in November.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to apologize for the oversight to our staff and, you know, make a notation that we did have a changing of hands.
Correct.
And there were a few weeks before your prior district held on to you and when Mr. Guzman was gone. And so I just would note that this oversight is not a reflection of the value that we have in our employees. It's just something that we're trying to tie in.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to call for the motion on this. Mr. Javezad?
He is.
Oh, he's not here. Okay, he stepped out for a second. Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabag?
Yes.
Dr. Stern?
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Yes.
And Mrs. Marcus is a yes, and that passes 5-0. Provisional student is not here right now. Okay, on the next one, I believe that's also approval of a memorandum of understanding between the Beverly Hills Unified School District and the Beverly Hills Education Association certified coaching stipends. Is this also something that's been...
So it was discussed, and there was never officially approved in the last year's bargaining round for 24-25. So at the beginning of this year, it came to our attention that the classified stipends and the coaches were making more than what certificated coaches were, and that was not the past precedent or practice of the district. So what this MOU is doing is getting us in line with to ensure equality or equity in pay among all our coaches. So the certificated coaches will now be making the same as classified coaches, and it will be retroactive. Total cost to the office will roughly be about $20,000. We have fewer certificated coaches than classified coaches, so therefore the cost is not that significant.
Okay, I will need a motion then for the approval of the memorandum of understanding between the Beverly Hills U.S. Unified School District and the Beverly Hills Education Association certificated coaching stipends. Can I get a motion to approve?
I so move.
Thank you, Mrs. Manicherry. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Stern. Okay, any discussion, questions? None?
No, I just think it's great that we offer these sports for our Lady Normans, as Tim calls them. And I'm personally very grateful to our athletic coaches who provide them these opportunities. And it's, you know, a pleasure to get these coaches their stipends.
Okay, I would like to just make another comment. I always appreciate it when we are able to bring in the certificated staff to be a coach rather than picking up whatever. Because I think that we get a better job of coaching, they know the kids, they know the rules, and it's just a better situation. So I'm hoping that we can increase. I know one where we did increase was in the tennis situation, and it's really changed the program around completely. So I'm hoping that we can get more of our faculty certificated to do this in the future.
Mrs. Marcus?
Yes.
I actually 100% agree with you, and I feel that all our coaches should be certified.
Well, I wouldn't disagree with you on that, but sometimes it's not too easy that you can find them, that they feel that they're qualified to coach at that level or that sport. But I do agree it would be wonderful. It could be 100%, but I don't know that's a real idea, but I'm not
We
sure.
should aim for that in the future, yes.
Maybe in the future, right? Okay, with AI, maybe the AI will coach them.
Yeah.
What's going on is unbelievable.
Yes.
Okay, I'll call for the motion. Mr. Javidzad.
Yes.
Thank you. Mrs. Sabag.
Yes.
Mr. Stewart.
Yes.
Dr. Stern.
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry.
Yes.
And Mrs. Marcus is a yes. It passes 5-0 with the vote from the student. All right. Number F. Receive the Sunshine app. Okay. I hope the instructional unit Sunshine, Dr. Hasty.
Yes, and if you want to group these together, typically when the district, we accept, or the board accepts the initial proposal from the bargaining unit, we would then also add that we'll have our initial proposal from the district to the bargaining unit. So again, you have the right, if you want a motion, to bring these together. But for the IAs, just to be clear, they did put their initial proposal, which has Article 3, which is salaries, and this is pretty typical for an off year, if you will, when you're not bargaining the entire contract, and they're looking at health and welfare benefits, hours, and longevity. The district, based on the feedback and what I did, is I reached out to our principals and administration to find out what would they be interested in bargaining with the unit as well. And so they brought up professional growth. They feel for our IAs, they're excited about providing professional growth opportunities, getting college credits where they can get compensation for that. So I thought that was a great thing to come back with, and so I ask that you guys accept this and approve our initial proposal.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from members of the board? Mr. Javidzad?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
I have a question.
Okay, Mrs. Sabag?
I just wanted, if you can explain Dr. Hasty's sunshine to our community
Oh,
members
absolutely.
who do not know.
So, yeah, the term sunshine refers to when we are going to bargain, typically the collective bargaining unit will sunshine, which means they're going to notice us. They'll send the district office a letter, official letter saying we are sunshining and these are the articles we want to open. Typically on a what we call an off year, because most contracts are on a 3-year cycle. On an off year such as this, they would bring in about 3 to 4 items or articles to sunshine, to open up, to bargain with the office. And at that point, what we would do as an office, we accept the sunshine, we take it to board for acceptance, and even, and we got 2 options, usually in the same or a subsequent meeting, we bring back the district's official or initial response to the sunshine. And when we all approve this, we're telling the public that we are going to start negotiating with a collective bargaining association. And yes, there may be possible costs, but more importantly, we're giving the community an option, or the option to weigh in on this, and they could talk about this board item if they wanted to give some input on it.
Okay, any other questions, comments? If not, hearing any, we've just noted that we've received their items to be sunshine for the next year, and I'll take note of them. And also, I believe that also includes the OTBS and the IAs. So we received them also from the Office of Business and Technical Services.
Should I make a motion?
No, there's no motion needed. We just have to say we received them.
What you're doing is you're receiving the sunshine, but you're also approving the district's initial response.
Okay, well, your response was for the ones for the IAs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we want to make a motion to approve the response that Dr. Hasty made. I need a motion to approve. I'll make the motion to approve that. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Stern. Okay, and I call for the response. Mr. Javidzad?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart,
Yes.
Mrs. Sabag,
Yes.
Dr. Stern,
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry,
Yes.
and I'm a yes. So provisional yes and 5 from the board yes. Okay, then we also have to, we've received, this one just says that we received the sunshine items for the contract negotiations between the OTBS and the district. Have you made a response to them on that?
I did. We have an initial response to that as well, and that's in the subsequent item. And so what I did bring back to them is the Article 20, which is classification and reclassification. We want to open up that item to discuss and bargain with them. They brought to us health and welfare, leaves, salary, and salary schedules. But again, after I followed the same process, I reached out to our site administrators to get some input, and they agreed that classification, reclassification, Article 20 would be the best, in the best interest of the office to open with them.
So do we need a motion to approve it doesn't say in this that we have made a response, but we have made a response.
Yeah, in G, it's the approval.
Well, G was the instructional aids.
So
I
it's
thought we approved them together.
You could do it together, yeah. I was the approval of
Okay,
BHUSD.
well, so do we want to amend the motion to include both of them then? It's already been voted on.
You can
Okay.
you can just do I, because it's really approval of BHU's additional response,
Okay.
I.
Oh, I see, there's the approval down below, okay.
I can do it.
Okay, go ahead, Mrs. Manicherry.
I make a motion for item 11.1, approval, or 11I, approval of BHUSD's initial response to BHEA OTBS Unit 2024-2025 sunshine items.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Stern. Okay, any discussion? Okay, we will call for the motion. Mr. Javidzad?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabag?
Yes, and just to let you know, we're going to be off Zoom and coming in again, so if you can be patient. Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Stern?
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so it's a 5-0 with the provisional yes from Mr. Javidzad. Okay, approval of a final resolution number 2024-25-20 to reduce or discontinue particular kinds of services. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion for the approval of final resolution number 2024-2025-21 to reduce or discontinue particular kinds of service.
And do I have a second?
I second.
Thank you, Mrs. Manicherry. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just would like to make a notation for our community because I know it's been, the process the last couple months has been a challenge. Some of these roles have already been brought back. So oftentimes if somebody is retiring, then we have to close out their role. And then as you could see, as an example, we already approved tonight a directorship for athletics and JPA. So I don't want the community to suddenly believe that a ton of people are getting fired. Some of them are leaving of their own accord, and then their positions are being brought back in other ways, or some of them are leaving not of their own accord, and their positions are being brought back.
And I appreciate you saying that. And to be clear, and I want the community to understand, what we reduced were executive director positions. What we are bringing back in certain areas, like today's athletic director, that is a director position, roughly a 20 to 30% reduction in the previous position.
I was just going to mention that there's at least $40,000 difference almost in
Correct.
You mean
the
reduction in
between
salary?
what they went
Correct.
before and now what they're getting under the new naming of the position. So what we've done is we've decreased the pay for
The
it.
expenditure.
Right.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Okay, call for the motion. All those in favor of the resolution to reduce the discontinue particular services, Mr. Javidzad?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabag?
Yes.
Dr. Stern?
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so it passes 5-0 with the provisional yes also. Okay, this is another that's similar to the one we just passed, the approval of a final resolution 2024, 2025, 22, regarding the elimination of classified management positions. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Thank you, Mrs. Manisteri. I will second the motion. Is there any discussion? None? Hearing none, I'll call for the motion. Mr. Javidzad?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabag?
Yes.
Dr. Stern?
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Yes.
And I'm a yes for a vote of 5-0 with a provisional yes on this one. Okay, moving on to business. Approval. Okay, would you like to explain this one? I'll call for the motion, and then you want to explain that one, Dr. Hasty?
Yes.
Because I could, but you can, okay.
I'm sorry, you talking about business
I'm talking about the developer fee justification, raising the,
I will give my 2 cents just because I can. Developer fees, so we've gone through a justification study, and what that entails is we're looking at the total costs. And so what we're going to be able to do with this resolution is increase our cost per square foot to a higher value, and it's over $5. So overall, it will be bringing in more money and revenues.
Sorry, we just got back on Zoom. We missed a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to let Will start again.
well, let me just quickly say this, that the developer fees are set by the percentage from the.
Correct.
And-
There's a percentage.
And we're asking for a larger percentage of the fees that are developed for developers. So the 4 new homes on my street, which are going up right now, it's too late for them, but if there were another 4 homes going up, we would
Correct.
be getting a bigger percentage toward our developer fees. And
Absolutely.
I just want the community to understand that.
Yeah, so if you're going to do a remodel in your house and you're adding square footage, and so you're looking at each of those foot, it would be, we roughly were charging around $3 plus, and now we're going to be upping that to about $5 based on the study that was done. But I'll let you, we'll get into the details.
Mr. Carrot. I don't think it's working.
I'll turn that on.
Hi, good evening. Is people able to hear me in the boardroom?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right, well, wonderful. And good evening. I'm Rob Murray. I'm the Director of Demographics here at King. I believe some of you might remember me from a few years ago when I was there doing a demographic study, but tonight we are presenting on the developer fee justification study that you are set to adopt tonight. So I just have a brief presentation, and then I'm happy to answer any other questions that I may not cover in this brief overview that you have about anything about the process. So if there's nothing else, we'll go ahead and do a little bit of history, for some context, which really this goes back to 1978 and Prop 13, but 1986 with AB 2926 is when school districts had the direct authority to begin imposing developer fees. But the current system really dates to 1998 in conjunction with the state school facility program, and really the intention being that the collection of developer fees and eligibility for state funding were 2 of the 3 legs of the facilities funding stool, as the analogy likes to go. And it is also important to note that even with the fees increasing over time, which we'll get into in a moment, that collecting the statutory level 1 fee is really never going to fully fund the facility needs that are generated by the students that you get from development, but it is still imperative to make sure that you collect that level 1 fee when you can. And a little asterisk on that last point, traditionally fees are collected at the time that someone pulls a building permit. With SB 937 that went into effect this year, there are some types of projects where that timing might be different, and there are also ways that they may or may not actually apply to you as a school district. So just a little asterisk on that point now. We can go ahead and move to our next slide, please. And as you already heard, the developer fees are charged on each square foot of residential and commercial industrial construction. Now that said, if it is a residential addition to an existing home, additions up to 500 square feet are exempt. This is primarily aimed at capturing brand new construction where there wasn't a home or a commercial industrial building before, or larger additions to an existing structure. And every 2 years, In even numbered years, the state allocation board sets what the maximum level 1 fees can be. So most recently that increased to $5.17 per square foot residential, 84 cents per square foot commercial and industrial. And so your study that was conducted demonstrates that you are fully justified to collect those maximum statutory fees, with the one exception of self-storage, or mini storage as it is called in the study, which has a lower amount just because you have so much square footage and so few employees. But all other categories of commercial industrial are justified at that 84 cents per square foot level.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's very interesting and very, the explanation was really great. So I call for a motion to approve the resolution, and then we'll have a discussion and approval. Okay, go ahead. I was just going to get it started, but go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. And then just some very quick things. It's just very important just for people to hear and know that your justification study has some specific nexus connections between the necessity of the fee and how that is demonstrated that the development justifies your collection of the fee, and therefore also the appropriate things that you can use those fees on. And just very importantly, that refurbishment and modernization are valid uses and rationales for collecting a developer fee. And that's the main thing we wanted to emphasize on that slide. And one final slide before we're done is just a reminder of all the things that weren't really part of the formula when the developer fee justification system that we're working under now was put in place. So you are always going to have way more needs than what you pick up through your developer fees. And so with that, I will sit tight and be on hand to answer any specific questions that you have. Thank you.
Okay, well, before we answer the questions, let's get a motion on, you want to say something else, Mr.? Okay, let's get a motion on the floor. Approval of resolution 2024-2025, 20 increasing school facility fees as authorized by the government code section 65995 B3 developer fee justification study. Do I have a motion?
I so move.
Thank you, Mrs. Manicherry. I'll second the motion. And so now time for questions. Mr. Javidzad, any?
Nothing at this time.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Let me go up.
Oh, sure.
Mr. Stewart.
No questions at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Sabag?
No questions, thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Manicherry.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to, first of all, hi, thank you for your presentation, sir.
Thank you.
On page 2, right in the middle, it says the 2,800 new units are projected to generate 605 TK through 12 grade students for the district to house. So does that mean over the course of the next 20 years?
Yes, that is a long-term projection, and the timing of that, this study doesn't get into the detail of exactly how much front-loaded or back-loaded that is, but yes, that is a long-term 20-year outlook based on potential as identified by your respective planning agencies that we contacted to assemble the study.
Got it. And then, excuse me, on our introductory page, our staff noted, after the resolution is signed by the board, there will be a 60-day waiting period before the district can start charging these fees. Can you educate us on how we start charging the fees? Or Dr. Hasty?
Well, I'll let the expert do it, but I can, yeah.
Experts?
No, and that's, from what I heard, it sounds like you do already have a fee, so this really will just be whatever you are doing to collect fees now.
Yeah, so typically, as you get a permit in Beverly Hills, what we would be doing is notifying the city where you would get your permit, and then they will be getting a new form, and we'll tell them well in advance that on day 60 from this, we'll be changing this number, a higher number. And so they will get the correct form, and then when you go to do a permit, you would have this 60 days after the approval of today.
Yeah, after this item is approved, or the resolution is approved, I'll be sending that notice tomorrow to the city and also the county, because there's a small part of our community that's part of the county.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that the city is informed.
Of course.
It's
Have they
very
been part
important.
of this process or not yet?
They'll be informed.
Yeah, they've been informed already that we were doing that,
Okay.
this resolution at this board meeting, and then tomorrow I'll be sending them an email that it was approved, hopefully.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
We're good.
Dr. Stern, any questions? I have a couple. We did this 2 years ago, as I recall. We do it every 2 years, right?
I don't know if we increased 2 years ago.
I think the new rates get approved every 2 years. The expert could, at the state board, I want to say it happens every 2 years.
That's,
So that's why we.
correct. So typically at the beginning of every even-numbered year.
Yeah, so it's every 2 years, yeah.
Okay, and then the next question that I have, we have there's limitation, this is a comment really, there are limitations of how the developer funds can be used. They just can't be used.
Correct, they're restricted.
willy-nilly. There are limitations as to how they can use, and usually it has to do with increase in student population or increase, whatever you need for the purpose of the students themselves, like a bigger playground because of more kids or something like that.
Exactly.
They are very earmarked and very specified as to how we can use them.
Yes. It
And I
also
know that
includes
we used
security
them
of the
when we went to
campuses.
the middle school at Beverly Vista because of the change in the number of students.
Correct, and we use that at Horace Mann as well.
So
Yeah.
could you use them, for example, on the TK Kinder yard and the improvements that we need to make there because we have so many TK
Yes,
students
correct.
because of universal
Yeah.
TK
Or
expanding?
again, I've used it where a new program is starting in general, and we need a new space for that program because it's new students. My example was for a special ed SDC classroom that was going to, because we had an increase in that group, so we were able to use bailout fees.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, call for the, is there any other comment? None? Okay, call for the question, Mr. Chavitan.
Yes.
Mr. Stewart. I'm sorry, Mr. Stewart.
Yes.
Mrs. Sabat.
Yes.
Dr. Stern.
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry.
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so that makes 5-0 with a provisional yes from the student. Thank you very much. Okay, we are
Thank you.
looking at a discussion now on the student and teacher laptops. And this is a discussion item, I rather guess, because it doesn't call for any resolution. So I don't know who put this on here.
Sorry, this does call, we're approving the
Student
purchase.
and teacher laptops.
Yeah, this was tabled from the previous meeting.
Right.
And we, the board gave direction to bring more information back. And so you'll see in the board item, there is a breakdown as to the need and the number of devices that need to be refreshed. And again, this is part of our annual refresh plan for the year. And so you can see the breakdown from high school where we have 252 ninth grade students who need refreshed, and then you see there's testing that needs to happen. We need 60 laptops for that for the high school, 70 loaner devices. Those are backups in case devices break. And then of course El Rodeo has third grade students, and I think that was a discussion too, which devices were, what students these devices were going to. So it's third grade, 90 students. We have 8 students for 8 devices for new student enrollment, and that's when like staff are enrolling the new students, they would be using these devices. In the middle school, you'll see 230 and 30 loaner devices, and then Horace Mann has 60 for 4th grade, and that's for replacement.
So I will say this is not the best use of bond funds. And so moving forward, this won't be part of our program. You really shouldn't be using bond funds to buy laptops. An analogy is in the year 2050, the residents of Beverly Hills will be paying for these laptops. And so that's why typically you want to use bond money for construction programs. For you could use it for technology, but you want, for servers, for it should be more infrastructure or technology type classrooms, right? So typically, this came up years ago with a former LAUSD superintendent who spent millions of dollars on iPads with bond money. And so these are personal laptop devices that our residents will be paying back for the next 30 years. And so we do not typically want to spend bond money on devices.
Agreed, Dr. Chernus, and I think this board has made an effort to, swap that approach out where it has been done. Hence the ATM is closed comment earlier, and we even, Dr. Stern, Mrs. Marcus, myself, when we were part of the prior configuration of the board, developed a tech fund along with Dr. Hasty. Maintenance and operations fund, tech fund, so on and so forth. We even have set aside dollars for our COP fund because we know that we have to set the dollars away. So I think that we're all on the same page from what I can tell, is that the tech fund should be used for tech and the bond should be used for long-term technology projects like classrooms and infrastructure going forward. And I'm grateful to you for your comment about that, and I think based on what Mr. Solari was saying earlier and our whole team here, we're all on the same page.
I would like to make another additional comment. If you look at this list of computers or laptops that they're buying, there are none that TK Key 1 and 2. And I think that, and I spoke to a couple of teachers at Horace Mann this past week, and one of the things that I really delved into was the use of the laptops, and I really want to tell you, they do not use them often enough to even warrant they don't even take them out of their boxes for the most part. So I just want to point out that for those parents and those other people that are very concerned about buying laptops for TK, K1 and 2, they are not on this list at all.
But Mrs. Marcus, that's because we had an iPad motion, so that was a separate.
But at the same time, they're not using them that much either, and then that they're not in there to replace any of them because they don't use them as much as, even, those are two also, don't forget their technology tools. They just don't use them. And they limit the time that they use them, like 20 minutes to one time a week for one group, and then 20 minutes the next week. I'm telling you that
Good. Thank you for.
So I'm just pointing that out, that with that little amount of use, they should last a long time.
If I may, I have two questions. One for the 60 Chromebooks for the AP, SAT, the testing ones. Are those just going to be reused for students when they're taking tests, and they'll use those designated laptops?
Correct. You go.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to. But also with weekend testing, we see students showing up on Saturdays without having a device. And so, Mr. Sankman, thank you for all your help on weekend testings. But that way we have a surplus there in preparation for students that show up on the weekends.
And then also for like AP testings, they're going to use those laptops in case there's any like malfunctions with the ones they currently have.
We're actually setting up the classrooms with laptops already set and ready for the AP testing, so that way we don't have any home glitches interfering with the assessments. Yeah. So these laptops would be utilized in that case.
And then also for the 252 Chromebooks for the 9th grade students. So I know like for seniors, when they graduate, after they turn in their laptops, do those seniors' laptops go to the freshmen?
Nope, this is actually, the freshmen will get a new device coming in, and our expectation is that they will utilize that for the 4 years.
So then what happens to the seniors' laptops?
I point over in that direction.
What happens to senior laptops?
Like after we...
Yeah, they get either they're going to get recycled or they get reused in other classes. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So my question is, this was tabled from the last meeting?
It was tabled, so I get the direction of the board right now, and I do agree with Dr. Chernus on this. typically bond funds are not used for purchasing of laptops.
No, I understand that,
So,
but you need a motion.
Well, I would say.
Or was it tabled last time, so?
It was tabled because there was a request for more information on the laptops. My question is, do we want to move forward with just this last time purchase using the bond for this, or do we want to pivot and say we're going to approve the purchase but utilize a different?
Would a delay cause a problem with this if we were to delay this till the next meeting?
I would prefer to recommend that we recommend this purchase from a different fund, like the general fund or the special reserve fund, rather than the bond fund.
Okay, well, I was thinking about the general fund.
I haven't made the motion. I can make the motion if you want, Mrs. Marcus.
There you go.
Make a motion to approve the laptop with the general fund.
Sure, I make a motion to approve the laptops.
1 second. Make sure it's not general fund, because we're actually going to use funds. I believe Fund 17 is where we're restricting the device dollars.
The tech fund?
Yeah, and it's in Fund 17.
So I make a motion to approve of the student and teacher laptops purchase, provided that the dollars are coming out of Fund 17, which is our recently created tech fund. Can I get a second? I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Stern. Okay. Any discussion? Mrs. Sabah and Mr. Stewart? Okay.
No, I'm good with it. I agree with Dr. Chernus, and yeah, I'm good with it. Thank you.
I'll call for the motion. Mr. Javidan.
Yes.
I have a quick question.
Sorry, go ahead, Mr. Stewart.
And Mrs. Marcus, I think your microphone is off. Where it says that the purchase aligns with the district's long-term technology plan, where can I read the long-term technology plan?
I will have to follow up with our Executive Director of Technology, and I can provide that to you.
Okay. And is this like in lockstep with that, or is this just
It should
following
be,
along
yeah,
with the
it should be typically, we have a refresh plan. It's usually a 5-year tech refresh plan. And every year there should be a number of devices that are cycling through, whether it be by grade level or school, depending on how we do it. But I can definitely provide that to you.
Copy that. Thank you.
Okay, ready to call for the question. Mr. Javidan.
Yes.
Mr. Stewart.
I apologize, Mrs. Marcus. What is the final
That
verdict?
we are going to approve the technology for the purchase of the list of laptop Chromebooks that were presented to us as they researched what they were going to be used for. There's a list of a number of them, like 20.
Yes, but we're changing which fund it's coming
We're going to
from?
be using Fund 17, which is our technology reverse, the refresh fund.
Thank you. I'm yes.
Well, thank you very much. Okay, Mrs. Sabag?
Yes.
Dr. Stern?
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Yes?
And I'm a yes, so that's 5-0 with a provisional yes on that. Okay. On planning and facilities, the ratification of amendment number 1 to the cooperative purchasing agreement with Pivot Interiors for Omnia purchases for the Beverly Hills High School B3, B4 project.
I so move.
Thank you, Mrs. Manicherry. A second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Dr. Stern. Okay, any conversation, questions about the cooperative purchasing agreement?
It's just to be clear, it's the interior furniture for B3, B4.
Right.
And also, maybe Mr. Karat can just help educate us on what it means to piggyback.
Absolutely. So first, to answer your question, yes, this is for interior furniture, and more specifically, it's for the music and band programs. We did not get this pricing prior to the last board meeting where we approved the first contract. So that's why we're adding it to this one, and it's using the same purchase agreement that we used last board meeting, the Omnia Cooperative Purchase Agreement. So that is similar to a piggyback contract, whereas a public entity had already bid these products out, and they provided a listing of prices per item that were competitively bid and approved. So rather than us having to go through a whole nother competitive process, we're able to piggyback and use that same pricing.
Did it get it at the same price?
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, I will call for the motion. Mr. Javidzad?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
Mrs. Sabag?
Yes.
Dr. Stern?
Yes.
Mrs. Manicherry?
Yes, ma'am?
And I'm a yes. 5 yeses and a provisional yes.
It's getting really exciting to see, you know, the furniture and all the pieces, and Mr. Solari is smiling in the back, and so am I. Thank you all for bringing us to this point where we're looking in at the final details.
Okay, the next question, next one, approval of agreement for the, I make a motion for the approval of agreement for the guaranteed maximum price number 3 for Swinnerton Builders of the Beverly Hills High School Building Athletic Building C.
Mrs. Marcus, your mic is off.
You're making the second, Mrs. Sabag?
I make the second.
Okay, Judy Manicherry. Okay, Mrs. Manicherry. Mrs. Sabag, you want to make a comment? Do you have a question or something? Mrs.
No, just the mic was off. No, I'm good. Thank you.
No comment?
I have a question if Mr. Stewart doesn't have one, or do you, Remy?
Mr. Stewart?
No, thank you.
Okay, Mrs. Manicherry.
Thank you. So, Mr. Karat, Mr. Solari, if I'm understanding this correctly, Swinnerton, which is the GC company that is doing the new Conheim athletic building and the surrounding plaza with the outdoor athletic pool at the speed of light, which is scheduled to be completed by the end of 2026, having just started
27.
Excuse me, 2020.
Oh, no.
No,
I'm sorry,
no,
26.
No,
I'm sorry.
2026. Well, don't do that.
I got the 27.
And so 2026, yeah, play it back. And just having started a couple months ago, which really truly is the speed of light.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm so pleased that they took on the Grand Lawn project,
Yes.
which really makes sense because then hopefully they'll have a smaller footprint and less imposition on our students and staff and operations. Is that what's happening?
Yes, that's correct. And that basically concludes the construction value for both portion of the work. So basically by this amendment, we are paying for the rest of the building C and the Grand Lawn included.
And I just want to add also, as you'll see on this attachment that we included with this board item, we are able to see transparently all the pricing and all the bids that Swinnerton received, which we didn't necessarily see always in the past or at all. So here we have a listing of all the bids they received. The lowest price obviously is what they went with most of the time, and that just allowed for more transparency and a competitive price.
And according to what I can see, there's a $900,000 saving that has been reduced. Is that, am I?
That's the contingency amount that's built into the lease-leaseback contract, so we have full control over that. That basically for any changes unforeseen that happening during construction. So that includes in the total value, and if it's not touched and the end of the contract is gonna be returned to the district.
So, to be clear, the total gross price right now for the Grand Lawn and added to the building C is $28,447,000. Or is that the added?
This is the total that we are adding to the value. The value is $62 million something. So this is the portion that you are approving tonight for $28 million. That's Grand Lawn and whatever was left from the actual finishes of the building. And we're also reducing the amount of contingency from 5% to $900,000 fixed value because because their contract was allowing them to have 5% building contingency. We mutually agreed with them that you don't need to have it, and if something happens, we can come back in front of board and ask for more money. So right now, we only have $900,000 contingency built into the GMP. If we wanted to follow the original contract language, this number would be 5% of the $62 million.
So that means you just keep performing surgery on it to narrow it down so that we can allocate the dollars to the deficit
Yes.
and the remaining projects.
We limit, the deficit goes.
Yep.
You have fully, at this point, you have fully purchased the Grand Lawn, Building C. Again, everything is on, after this approval under contract. The only thing that's left is gonna be the South Side project that we're gonna start working on.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay, Dr. Stern. Okay, call for the question. Mr. Javidad.
Yes.
Dr. Mr. Stewart.
No, can you please call me doctor from now on? Thank you.
Okay, I will, Dr.
Yes.
Stewart.
That sounds good.
Yes. Okay, Mrs. Sabat.
Yes.
Dr. Stern.
Yes.
Mrs. Spanicherry.
Yes.
And I'm a yes, so it's 5-0 with a provisional yes from Mr. Javidad.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good news tonight on that end. Okay. Mr. Javidad, you're up.
Yes. Just waiting for it to show up.
Mr. Javidad, we're resetting the Zoom real fast before you start.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So, yeah, let me get some stuff out of your way. We had the art show just last week, and we run by Mr. Fetterman, and it was a great experience for all those students to show off their art and the different collections they've made. And one you can see down over, I don't know if you can see my crosshair there. You can see over here, this one was made by Hayden Cucci, and it was a great show. Many people attended, and I even saw that they had some appetizers for people there, and it's nice to see all the people coming to enjoy the art show. We also had Color Wars this past week, where seniors wore red, juniors wore green, sophomores wore blue, and freshmen wore purple. And it's when all 4 grade levels compete with each other to win the trophy, and ultimately the seniors won. There were some games like an obstacle course, tug of war, and so many others that everyone enjoyed, and it was a great turnout. Even though we couldn't do it at the swim gym this year, we were able to do it on the football field, and it was just a great experience. Everyone had a fun time. Everyone showed up in their colors, as you can see, with the posters in the background, and just a fun experience as a whole. We also had the French Cabaret Showcase, which was, I think, this past week as well, and it went very well. Many people attended, and a lot of people enjoyed it as well. So those are some pictures. And there was also a robotics competition, and here are some more photos of that. And PTSA donated some ping pong tables on the new building's patio, and we actually had a BHHS staff for students ping pong tournament, and this was a fun turnout because these past few weeks we've been having these types of tournaments between staff or students. Like just this week on yesterday we had a dodgeball tournament between staff or students, and the staff actually won that tournament. But it was a great game. Everyone enjoyed watching and playing around. It was just a fun experience again. For BVMS, the 8th grade AVID students took a guided tour of USC and even had the opportunity to chat with Kirk Brennan, the interim dean of admission and director of undergraduate admission at USC. So it's just a great experience to even get almost like a private tour of USC and see how it fits to them, and even meet the dean, which is one amazing, something they can even write in their applications in the future. So it's just a great experience for them. There was also a 6th grade outdoor education trip where the 6th graders went to Brandis Camp in Simi Valley on April 7th to the 9th, where they had an amazing time hiking, challenging themselves on the rope score, learning past outdoor survival skills such as grinding corn to make flapjacks, sewing medicine bags, archery, and axe throwing. And here are some more photos of the kids. And we also had there was also the Japan spring break trip. As it said, over spring break, some of our Bulldogs went international with our first BHUSD tour to Japan. The tour was through EF tours and aimed at showing students robotics, engineering, and the future of cities in Japan, from high-speed superconducting magnetic trains to hybrid assistive limb technology. Students explored how the future of cities is closer than you think in the experimental wonderland that is Japan. And here are some more photos. And also thank you to Miss Silva, who helped me shared me with all these photos and all this amazing writing so I can explain it to you guys. There was also the STEM Disneyland field trip, which we actually spoke about today as well, where the Beverly Vista Advanced STEM Bulldogs visited Disneyland for an engineering workshop. In the unique technology of Disney Parks workshop, students learned how Disney stories are central to everything in the Disney parks and got an inside look at how Disney Imagineers dream, design, and use technology and engineering to immerse guests in those stories. From audio, animatronics, to light and sound effects and more, students learned why technology is the most valuable and challenging tool in the theme parks. And here are just some more photos of those students enjoying the trip and the learning experience. There was also the Mr. Pinto's drama students put on an incredible performance of The Wizard of Oz. It was a magical evening filled with heart, humor, and so much talent. The students were fantastic, and it's clear how much work and heart they both put into the show. And I've heard tremendous ratings about the show and how all the students performed so amazing. And Mr. Pinto's experience, I even had Mr. Pinto when I was in elementary school, so it's so great to see him with all these students as well and keep going and seeing all the plays that they're putting up now. And here are some more photos of that. Multilingual learners, Los Angeles Zoo experience. So the BVMS students enjoyed exploring the exhibits, engaging in academic conversation, and making real-world connections to their classroom learning. One of the day's highlights was the custom-designed scavenger hunt, which challenged students to apply vocabulary and content knowledge from the mammals and reptiles unit in fun and meaningful ways. They were incredibly excited to spot animals they discussed in class, such as the snow leopard, sea lion, and various reptiles, and to see them up close after weeks of research and preparation. And here are some photos of that. So I think it's a great experience how they were able to learn everything in the classroom, but they actually got to go out and explore and see what they learned in the real world. Something like in high school, how we do labs after what we learned about what we were just learning, we do a lab on it, and it's just a great experience to really connect the two. And the 8th graders spent the March 26th to 28th on Catalina, where they snorkeled, hiked to see the buffalo, and hung out around the campfire eating s'mores and sharing stories. They even got to set up their own tents. And you can see there's a lot going on at BVMS, but a lot of these field trips are happening as well. Oh, I was the one that had to come back, yeah. But unfortunately, this one was with rain. At Rodeo, there was Multicultural Week from March 17th to the 21st, and this is where different cultures come together and they share about their culture to the students. And I also remember this as a child as one of our most favorite and popular days at school, where we got to try the different types of food, learn about the different experiences and traditions the cultures have, and just a great experience for everyone. So here's some images of that. In March, at the Rodeo Gala, parents could participate in a silent auction to buy teachers' time, and above are a few pictures of the students completing the teacher time auction activities. And TK raised eggs and 15 chicks hatched. So here's some photos of those chicks and the students with them. It's pretty amazing. And here's the fun run where students will run around. Well, when I went to Rodeo, it was around the block because we didn't really have a lawn yet because it was under construction. But now you can see that it's on the field and it's a great time and everyone's supporting and all the parents coming to support their kids and a fun experience. At Horseman, the Butterfly Pavilion came to Horseman to visit their TK, kinder and first grade classes, and they had an opportunity to learn about the cycle of a butterfly while interacting with the butterflies. So you can see, as in this image, even the butterfly was on the kid's arm, and it's just a great experience for them and learning opportunity. Also, PTA put on the Husky Olympics, which raised over $45,000 for Horseman. Wow. Yeah. Amazing. And some photos of their career day. Oh. And like we discussed today also, here's a picture of the new inner gate that was installed. And like we also discussed, the spelling bee with the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grader winners. And here are some photos of them at the competition. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very complete. Very good, Remy. Thank you. Any comments from anybody on the board? Mr. Stewart, any comment?
Yes, Remy, I comment on this every single time, but thank you for showing me how I do not know how to make a presentation, because you do it better than anyone I've seen. Very informative, going all the way back to March, so thank you so much. And yeah, just you always lead the way when it comes to the most informative and colorful presentations, so thank you again for always your great work.
Thank you.
Mrs. Sabag?
Yes, hi Remy. We missed you.
Hi.
So very much. Thank you for your presentation. It was fabulous as usual. I just have one question that I didn't notice, and I don't know if maybe we missed it. Did any of the schools do something for Holocaust remembrance?
I didn't hear yet about that, but maybe in my next report I'll get some information about it to share at the next report.
Okay. Thank you so much, Remy.
Of course.
Dr. Stern?
The chickens. Where are the chickens right now that hatched? I hope I don't have to make a complaint to the ASPCA.
How many were roosters and how many were hens?
Well, yeah. Where are they?
I remember doing that with my kindergarten kids at El Rodeo, and we used to watch every day. I'd go in 21 days, and with the incubators with the temperature right and so on.
Kinder? She taught every grade.
I taught everything. I provided the eggs for the teachers. I went to the market and I got the eggs and I got the incubators.
The ones over here in pavilions?
Oh, no. I had to go to get special eggs. They had to be fertilized eggs.
I know that.
Yeah, it was.
But no, seriously, what do they do with them?
Then the problem. Well, we had people that would take them that have egg
I'm not
farms, and they would take them, but they wouldn't take the roosters.
What do they do with the I don't want to know. Okay, anyway, excellent job. I loved it. It gave me a lot of joy. I love seeing the butterflies and the chicks. I
I
love
did
seeing
that with the first graders.
Okay.
Butterflies with the first graders.
and the multicultural stuff. And, you know, we obviously are all about learning, but we have a lot of fun, as we should, because you're only a kid once. So thank you for
Yeah.
sharing that.
I would
Thank you.
like to make a comment about the ping pong tables, because I really feel that that was something that I was responsible for. So the young student who started the club is I've had him, and I've known him for many years, he's a special ed student, and he wanted to be inclusive, so he started a ping pong club. And he begged me to come to see it, so one Wednesday morning or lunchtime, I went to watch the ping pong club. And I saw all the kids that were there, and they were having a good time, but they were all standing around waiting for their turn to play ping pong. And they get 2 minutes. And I thought, this is not right. So I went to Mrs. Yotovich and I said, there's something wrong here. I said, you need more ping pong tables. So I marched off to the PTSA meeting, and I said, you need to buy more ping pong tables for the table club, for the club. They came, they've got now 3 of them, and so thanks to the PTSA, they have 3 table tennis ping pong tables.
And people really do enjoy it. A lot of people love playing. It's a fun activity because going down to the field, like if they want to play basketball or soccer, is a lot of energy to go all the way back down and then come back up for your classes. But here it's right on the B building patio,
Right on
so
the
it's a
patio
great
there, right.
location.
How about foosball? Remy?
They
That would
named
be
one
fun.
of the
That'd be a
tables.
smart idea
They
as
put a
well.
little plaque on the table for this boy. It was
Actually,
We should make a
Mrs.
game room at
Marcus,
this point.
Mr. Little at the middle school instituted a ping pong tournament during lunch, which is a really big thing, and I think they would benefit from foosball tables as well.
Yeah, foosball tables.
Tell the
would be fun as
PTA
well.
there, because I got them from the PTSA.
Yeah.
I
So
like that.
I
Well,
just
thank
wanted to
you.
share that with
Thank
with
you,
them.
Remy. It's
Thank you,
really-
Remy. Great report as usual.
Yeah.
I
Thank
love
you.
it. I look forward to it all the time. So now it's your turn, Mr. Superintendent Chernus.
Okay, let me see if I can get this to work here. Following Remy was not the ideal for me. Let's see here. Okay, well, first off, I want to thank the entire Beverly Hills community for welcoming me. Everybody's been great. I've been to PTA meetings now at BVMS, Horace Mann, El Rodeo, and everybody, the parents, the teachers, the staff, and most importantly, the kids have all been tremendously supportive. Before I start, I want to thank a few people. First off, I want to thank Dr. Breggy for his service to this district. He was here a long time and did a lot of great things for our students and for our community. I want to thank Dr. Hasty for holding down the fort over the last several months. And of course, I want to thank Dr. Seaman for his instructional leadership and really helping over the last several weeks advise on how to get our team situated. So thank you for those folks specifically. And I want to thank Colby for finding this tile, because I walked past this tile wall, which is right outside of Hawthorne, several times coming in and meeting with the board. And every time I passed, I thought, I think I did a tile on this wall, but I couldn't find it. And so, of course, Colby very quickly finds the Mr. Chernus school bus. Looks like I was in 3rd grade when I artistically designed that bus, but no, I was an adult. That's just my artistic ability, as you can see. But it was cool. It was cool to see, and it brought back a lot of memories. And so here I am. My wife Liz is home with the 3 kids. We met here. She was a teacher at Horace Mann, a special education preschool teacher for many years. and then at Beverly Vista for many years as well. And so there's Harper, Finn, and Leo, and they're very happy as well, and I got to bring them out here and show them around the district this past weekend, which was a lot of fun. Brings back a lot of memories. As I was principal at Hawthorne, one of the things I prided myself on was on our academics. And so that is going to be a focus while I'm here, is to really dig down into how are we doing, where are the gaps. And as I've mentioned before, the pandemic has really caused a lot of learning gaps. Kids aren't writing. They definitely weren't writing as much during the pandemic, and that's kind of bled over. And so we have huge writing gaps among our kids. And then also just mathematics. We'll be adopting new math curriculum, which I'm very excited about. Foundational mathematics skills is very needed with our students as well. So it's about getting instructional leaders, training our teachers, and supporting our teachers, because we know our kids are the best, and so they're gonna step up. And so I'm very excited for those next steps. Very much enjoyed my visit to Horace Mann and my Zoom last night with the PTA. We had a great turnout. Horace Mann is a very special place, and it has its own character. And I love that. And I know we talk about aligning schools. We do want to align schools. We want the curriculum to be the same at both schools, both elementary schools. We want the programs to be offered the same. But we also want to retain the character of both schools, because they are both very different. And that's okay too. And going to Horace Mann, that family feeling that's been, since Art Fields. It's been a family at Horace Mann, and it still is, and you still feel that. And so it's a beautiful school with so many teachers that really, really want what's best for students, and amazing kids and families. I got to meet with Lorraine again. She was a parent at Hawthorne, and now she's the head of the PTA Council, and that was tremendous. Lorraine Eastman's going to be a great partner for us. Mrs. Marcus' student, okay. And then I got to bring my boys to Mary Poppins, which was a great time. What a performance Mary Poppins was. Just incredible. And it just shows what our kids are capable of here. The fun run was a great event over at El Rodeo, and it's great to see so many families that come out. The more events we can have where the families are on the campus, the better, and I love that about our district. We are building partnerships, and so as we speak, we have 2 board members along with Colby in Washington, and it's not vacation. They are advocating for our students and our families in Washington, D.C. And funding is changing in public education. If you've been following along with what's happened with the Trump presidency, is the Department of Education is going through a massive transformation. And what that means is the funding going from the federal government to public schools is going to change. And so if we're not in Washington, D.C. advocating for funding for our students, we may be shortchanged. And there is a fear that the blue states will receive less federal funding than the red states. And so we can't let that happen. We need to advocate for our students and for funding for California. And so I'm very appreciative of Ms. Sabag and Mr. Stewart out there advocating for our kids. I am a product of my mentors, and so I've had great leaders from Dr. Gwen Gross, who was superintendent here for many years, to Dr. Escalante, to Dr. Delgado. And so I encourage those people that, you know, want to be, go beyond teaching and administration and move up in the world, or really whatever profession you have. I tell them it's up to you to maintain your relationships with mentors. They're not going to reach out to you. You need to continue to reach out to them. And I tell the young people that all the time is make the effort to continue relationships with people, with mentors, and they will want to give back and help you in your career. Well, we have a lot of ways to honor staff coming up, which is exciting. We have our School Lunch Hero Day, May 2nd. We have our Certificate Employee Week coming up, the 5th through the 9th, and our Classified the 19th through the 23rd. So just another opportunity to thank our amazing staff for what they do each and every day for our students. And of course, we have several events coming up. We have the Pop Show at El Rodeo on May 2nd. We have an art show coming up May 16th. The Honor Choir May 7th in the El Rodeo Auditorium. And please do not miss the Addams Family, which is coming up May 7th, 8th, and 9th. Really excited for that. That's going to be a real cool musical comedy. Lately, we've been advertising our students around town and on social media, and it's really been a great, it's been received very, very well. We love seeing our kids and where they're going off to school, and so we're going to keep doing this, and we're going to keep showing as many students as we can, and where they're going to college, because we're very, very proud of them. And all of our teachers should be, not just our high school teachers, but many of these kids, you know, they're products of their kindergarten teachers all the way through high school. So I do have an Instagram page. I'm up to over 150 followers, which is a big deal. I'm not quite, I don't have the blue check mark yet.
Kids would laugh at you.
Yes, my kids would laugh. But we want to get that up, and so please follow me. We're going to continue to put a lot of good information out there as I go off and visit the schools. We are a great district, and we are headed for better, bigger, and better things. So that concludes my report.
Thank you very, very much. That's wonderful, Dr. Chernis. Any comments from anybody on the board here?
Just overall a great report, and I'm excited to be working with you.
Mr. Stewart, do you have a comment?
Thank you, Mrs. Marcus. Dr. Chernis, just welcome home. It's been such a pleasure getting to know you. I'm very excited, not only for the future of our district, but just the future of the city as well. I think the reception that you've been getting has been tremendous. I'm excited about some of your fresh ideas. You know, I'm glad that our art abilities are exactly the same, because my bust would be a lot similar to yours if I drew on a tile. So I'm glad we're in the same bus there, no pun intended. You know, it just feels like the welcome home, I just think, is just so appropriate. Not just the fact that you came from this district and you grew from this district. It really feels like we're also bringing home the vision of success that we are used to in this city, and you are going to lead us back there. So thank you so much. Congratulations on the new yet old role, and welcome home.
Mrs. Sabag?
Yes, I'd like to say congratulations, Dr. Chernis. Thank you for that very warm and engaging report. And I'm very happy, you know, your first official board meeting. We're thrilled to welcome you into our wonderful BHUSD family, and we look forward with great excitement to building a bold and bright future together for our students and our educators and our community. Thank you.
Dr. Stern.
Yes, I want to congratulate you on your first board meeting and many ahead. I'm very excited, and from working with you this evening, all the way from 1:30 till right now. I've had the pleasure of being in your company, and I can share that you definitely have had some very good ideas and some very logistical, linear thinking that have already been a comfort to me in terms of where we're going and some of the gaps we need to close at this moment. So I'm very grateful, and thank you.
Mrs. Manicherry.
Dr. Turnus, welcome. Echoing the sentiments before me, it's such an honor to be here on this board and to sit beside everybody here, including yourself. Thank you for delivering yourself to us quickly. It's a treat to have you sooner than later so that we can begin the hard work together, which we've already been doing all day long. And, you know, this evening really exemplified the team. Dr. Hasty, Dr. Seaman, Mr. Karat, Mr. Sherman, Founder Solari. Of course, our union family is here as well, and we are grateful to have them. I love BHUSD so much, and I also want BHUSD to be a little bit better every day. And the biggest comfort to me is that I know you think the same way. And so welcome aboard. Looking forward to working with you.
I just want to echo everybody's comments because they were so well stated and so well put. I just want to tell you that I know that we're going to do nothing but great things together. And I also want to thank Dr. Hasty for taking over during the interim period along with Mr. Seaman and the other members of the cabinet to keep things up until we were up and running. And I sort of feel like now we are up and running. And we're going to be, nobody's going to stop us now. We're going to do great things. So I really appreciate the help that from Dr. Hasty and Mr. Seaman, Dr. Seaman. And all I can say is welcome aboard. I'm looking forward to working with you, and we go back a long way.
Don't say he was your student.
No, no, I won't say that. I can't say that one, but there are a lot of them I can't say. But I'm so grateful that you're here, and I have so much confidence in the song. I have confidence in confidence. So,
thank you. Upward
and onward. And with that, we now go to the board reports. So, Mr. Javidzad, what have you to say tonight?
I just wanted to let everyone know that also PTSA is putting up a frozen yogurt station for the seniors tomorrow at school during lunch, and also there's going to be like a senior bingo event at lunch on Thursday. So some things that our school and PTSA are doing for us seniors, and then also the senior pennant party is coming up, which would be a great event for if you guys would like to attend to see all the seniors and where they're going. And I believe that's either May 9th or May 16th, but I'll confirm because I think they changed the date. But it's during lunchtime as well.
You'll keep us posted.
I will.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that was for me. Mrs. Marcus, your microphone's off, but.
It off again. Mr. Stewart.
All right. Well, as Dr. Chernus had mentioned, we are currently in Washington, D.C., the California School Board Association's Coast to Coast conference here. It's been a remarkable time getting to not only speak to school board members from across the state, but congresspeople, senators, not to embarrass my colleague, Ms. Sabag, but she famously chased down some congressmen at the Capitol here today, and even on the street, all the way up to the bus, making sure that the Beverly Hills Unified School District name is, loud and proud. We had a chance to have an encounter today with Nancy Pelosi, who Ms. Sabag actually was the only person, I believe, out of hundreds who actually got a chance to really speak to her for a few minutes about our district. And we met with Kevin Kiley, the congressman from California, and we are meeting with Congressman Ted Lieu's office tomorrow morning at 11:30. So it's been a great trip. It's been a lot of work, a lot of meetings and conference time, and and business cards. And like Dr. Chernis said, we are in a flux period now with the Trump administration and the status of the Department of Education. And we're here to make sure that everyone knows the Beverly Hills Unified School District name, and making sure that everything in our power that we can do to make sure that our kids are always advocated for, and to make sure that funds, which like Dr. Chernis said, could be a little bit up in the air when it comes to certain states who are not following the guidelines that the Trump administration are looking to do. We're trying to make sure that we can align ourselves to make sure that we can maximize as much funding as we can for the benefit of our students. So it's been a great trip, but we also look forward to coming back tomorrow and getting back to work on the ground, and to partner with Dr. Chernis and make sure that we can make everything in our district absolutely stellar for the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Mrs. Sabag.
Yes, so thank you, Mr. Stewart. Yes, I tracked everybody down, and if people want to see some pictures, I'm going to try to post on my Instagram, most likely stories.
The bus one is the best, by the way.
So yes, tonight, as both Dr. Chernis and Mr. Stewart mentioned, I'm speaking to you from Washington, D.C., where I've had the incredible privilege participating in the California School Board Association Coast to Coast Federal Advocacy Conference, along with Mr. Stewart and our incredible communication media specialist, Colby Gaillardian. I hope I didn't mispronounce it. We joined many board members and educational leaders from all across California, which is always tremendous, you could say networking, but everybody learns from each other. It's very important. And I'm here as a proud representative of the Beverly Hills Unified School District as we engage directly with lawmakers on Capitol Hill, including, and I think Mr. Stewart mentioned Kevin Kiley, Senator Adam Schiff, and much more. And on matters most important to our students. And I'd like to highlight, this was more than just a conference. This is a pivotal moment. We're putting Beverly Hills Unified School District on the national map, not just for our excellence, but for our leadership in education, policy, and vision. And we are doing so with clarity and urgency. In collaboration with Dr. Seaman, one of the most pressing issues I have voiced, and I will continue tomorrow before we are going to be working until we get that flight coming back to LA, is the urgent need for greater national standardization in educational instructional materials and assessment. If we look globally at countries like Japan, we see a deeply unified approach to education. From TK through 8th grade, Japanese students benefit from consistent expectations and national alignment in curriculum. This creates a fair, equitable, and strong foundation regardless of where a child lives. Contrast to this with the patchwork system in the United States. Why do California educational standards diverge so dramatically from those in Florida? Why are rigorous, high-quality instructional materials deemed acceptable in one state but rejected in another? And most importantly, how can we as a nation claim to rank schools and reward excellence through national publications and programs like the Blue Ribbon Awards when we lack consistent national framework to measure true student achievements? And that is something I am going to be extremely vocal about and have been. These are the questions I'm asking our congressional leaders, not just once, but repeatedly and persistently. Advocacy is not a one-time conversation. It requires relentless personal engagement, which you will see on my Instagram, and the courage to bring these issues to the forefront again and again. I want every school in BHUSD, elementary through high school, to be recognized nationally, not just because we've learned to play the game better, but because we've also helped shape a better, fairer game for every child in America. That starts with standardization, that starts with advocacy, that starts with us. In the midst of all of this, I was happy to zoom into the Horace Mann PTA General Assembly meeting last night. I heard one parent's frustration that El Rodeo 5th graders toured Beverly Vista Middle School already, and Horace Mann 5th graders, students, did not have that opportunity, and they don't even, I mean, I'm sure that they will, but they're not even scheduled yet for BVMS. I want to assure the community that all of our elementary families, I want to assure everybody that I've been advocating hard on this from day one. El Rodeo and Horace Mann must mirror one another down the board, from curriculum to field trips to everything in between. The only difference between the schools, and I agree with Dr. Chernus, must be the shell of the building, the color scheme, the mascot, and the families, of course, and the students and our wonderful staff and educators. Other than that, we must have equality between our elementary schools, and both schools need to integrate on field trips together with every opportunity we have. No divide between the two elementaries. I would like to thank our community and parents for being fully involved, and it reminded me why I'm here in Washington, D.C., advocating with passion and purpose. It's for our students, for our families, and for our educators. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Sabat. Dr. Stern.
I have nothing to add, nothing to share.
Okay. Mrs. Manicherry.
Yes. First of all, thank you to my colleagues for holding down the fort in DC, and I'm really looking forward to hearing more about the meetings and the conferences and what you've learned. Next, I did have the opportunity to represent the board as board liaison to the Recs and Parks Commission last week, which actually they asked me to start coming on a quarterly basis because they do so much over there. So it was nice to be back with them, but I did want to suggest to my colleagues, because I know that there's only 5 of us and we are all attending different commissions and being board liaisons for a lot of different things, that maybe we should consider moving to a quarterly basis for the city commissions, because it is a heavy lift, and I think it's also respectful of their time if we move to that model. Just a suggestion that I'm putting out there. There might be some commissions that warrant that we visit with them more often than not, but considering our own finance committee moved themselves to a quarterly commitment, and Recs and Parks asked me to visit with them quarterly, I just wanted to put that out there, you know, in the interest of board member time, staff time. Perhaps it makes sense to consider the consolidation. That's it. Thank you, everyone, for another beautiful meeting.
Okay, first of all, just briefly, the health and safety, the consolidation, that's probably going to take place with the Human Relations Committee may change all that, because with those two working together, there might be more information in terms of going once a month. I've enjoyed going once a month, although I know that Mr. Stewart is going to start to take my place when he's available. I would like to mention that I did go to their meeting yesterday, which was a presentation from a lady named Sarah Levan. I actually was able to offer this to Mrs. Colleen Lynch, because the topic would be interesting, something that the MSA students would have enjoyed. She was there, but unfortunately with some kind of a glitch, students who had planned to go did not show up. But it was about from a board-certified labor and delivery nurse who spoke about having a happy birthday. And that was about managing it, and health and education and taking control. So it was an interesting presentation. The usual presentation with the metrics of the police department and the fire department were pretty much the same as they've been, and they were very happy about that. There are several events coming up in addition to the Adams family, and I just want to remind our community that these events are a chance for us to watch and highlight the talents of our students, and I'm grateful that I'm able to attend them, and I know that there's an orchestra one coming up, and there's another, we just did the dance one at the Beverly Vista, there's a singing one at the high school one, and I just have to tell you that our kids really shine when they do VEPA, Visual and Performing Arts. I would like to mention that next week is Teacher Appreciation Week, and that all the teachers really appreciate that little kind word every now and then during the week, which it's just an apple or just a little note or something that will cheer them up, and I think that they look forward to that. So starting May 5th, it's Teacher Appreciation Week. And then there's classified and OTBS. And last but not least, I'd like to talk about the fact that this is the week of Yom. Yom HaShoah was a few days ago. As you remember, that is to recall the 6 million that were destroyed in the World War II. Tonight, actually, is Yom HaZikaron, which is the memorial remembrance for the soldiers who have died in this saving Israel. And so Yom HaZikaron. And then tomorrow is Yom HaAtzmaut, which is the Israel Independence Day. So this is the week of Yom. And I just wanted to share that with the community. I know that I just wanted to make that announcement. And I think that's it for now. I want to remind everybody that before I announce that the next meeting will be May 13th. The next open board meeting, May 13th, and located right here. And if there's unless you have something more to say, Dr. Chernas, Nick will now adjourn the meeting. Meeting is adjourned at 8:44.
Thank you, everyone. 11:44 for us.
Have a safe